Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining on time. I think that's a great start to coming to Germany. So, very good. So, to begin with, few housekeeping rules. I would like anybody who has a question, you can drop it in the chat. I have my team member Gunisha Koundal. She's a associate director with Workpunkt. So she will be looking after your queries. If you have any queries, if I'm talking a lot and I'm not able to answer your queries, there would be somebody attending to it. But in any case, you will have our phone numbers and you will be able to connect with us later as well. We have your details. Uh, and we can then accordingly attend to your queries. So to begin with, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining on time. This is the start of your entire journey to Germany. If Germany is a destination that you do think, and probably you are not even thinking about it, that you want to come to Germany for higher education or jobs or careers, then maybe this will be a good start, because I'm going to give you a lot of information which I wish somebody had given me when I was moving to Germany. So, my name is Priya Rao. I moved in here 7 years ago as a student myself, and Germany was not part of the plan. Like, sometimes we don't decide what we want to do, but Germany was definitely not in the plan. And I was thinking of going to the US just like any other student. From India, we are always thinking that we want to go to the US, that is the first choice. And I was rejected. My visa was rejected twice to go to the US, and I had really no clue where I'm going. I know that day, two of my very distant friends reached out and they said, "Why don't you try Germany?" And I don't know why they recommended Germany to me. Rest is history. It was matter of 6 months that I decided to move to Germany, found an admission in one of the universities here, moved in here as a student, and it has now been 7 years. I moved my entire career from being a student to becoming an employee with my university, where I started bringing students into Germany for higher education. And I moved few universities while I was here, and then finally I decided to not work with the companies anymore and set up my own company, because this is something I found that people in India were not guided correctly. And I thought it was my responsibility as a student who struggled, who suffered in so many ways, and there were so many challenges which came along the way. And I decided to share my journey with people so that you guys can land here comfortably, safely, and take the discussion forward. Now, I want to definitely talk about the whole agenda today: Destination Germany for higher education, careers, and settlement. This is going to be a power packed session, guys. It is going to be 4 hours, and really, I appreciate everybody who starts on time in spite of this session being so long. Uh, so it's really good, and thank you for your commitment, and I value your time. We are going to make sure that during this time of 4 hours that you're spending with us, every minute is going to count, and we are going to give you so much information. You can take notes. You will also get access of this recording. So even if you don't take notes and if you just listen to me, um, with your mind and heart open, you might just get you might just prepare for Germany as a destination for higher education, because I'll tell you a lot of things about this country which are really good, and things one must prepare for before making the move. So quickly, if I go to the agenda for today, I definitely want to talk about one particular speaker who has fallen sick. He was a professor. He's a professor from a university here. He has really fallen sick and is down with fever and the weather change symptoms. So he is not going to be joining us. But then I have requested our keynote speaker, who was otherwise speaking only for 30 minutes. She's going to give us more time to and give us a lot more information about the line method she does, and how it can empower people like university students or international students aspiring to move to the country, or in fact any country in the world, not just Germany. While I will cover Germany in a lot more detail today, but the skills, the whole method that she is going to be talking about is something you will be appalled that how much it can prepare you to land in any kind of a foreign country. So there will be a lot of surprises along the way. And one thing I don't want to forget to mention is that people who are going to stay all the way till the end of this session today are going to qualify, especially students who are enrolled students. You must be an enrolled student, okay? We are going to give you an internship. So two people will qualify for that internship. It's going to be an 8-week internship, and Let me tell you a little about what that internship is going to be all about. During this 8 week of internship, you are going to get the hang of how AI can be used for automating systems. Workpunkt as a company, we are tech driven. We are a very lean system. We are a lean setup. We don't have too many people in the company, and this is going to be the future of big companies, right? So they are already talking about future billion-dollar companies will have 3 employees. So because the rest would be done by AI. So the people who join us for internship will also be considered for full-time jobs with us. And if you are a student, let's say you are a grade, year 2 student or year 3 student about to graduate from your university, and if you do a good job during that internship, where we are going to teach you everything about how we can use AI to automate our systems. And while Workpunkt is going to be launching AI as a integral part of our entire system by January next year. We are looking to hire 2 people who will start this journey with us and will be a integral part of the AI and automation that Workpunkt is undergoing right now. So, and there will be a lot of other stuff that you'll be learning, everything about the German education, the higher education, because you will be neck deep in all of that kind of a work. So that is one of the things. And I want to talk about the speaker number 3, who is going to be Dominic Otto. Dominic Otto is the founder of a company called Expatrio. For people who still don't know so much about Germany and you just wanted to get all the information here today, I want to say this. When you come to Germany, there are a few things which are mandatory as part of this whole journey. One of them being a blocked bank account and having insurance in Germany. What are the types of insurances that are going to be there if you come to Germany as a student or somebody who is, let's say, you are looking at doing a job here or you want to come here on a job seeker visa? We are going to cover all of those aspects, and you will get the hang of what you need to do and how you need to prepare if Germany is going to be if that's what you are planning. So we will give you that information. So we also have, towards the end of the session, I will be doing the closing. So I'll talk about what is required by you as an Indian or a foreigner who is planning to move to Germany, for higher education or for careers. What are the things that you require to culturally integrate into this system? It is a totally different culture, a totally different way of life. And yes, I will prepare you and help you understand how Germans think and how wonderful they are as people. So, okay, then I'm going to quickly show you the speakers who are going to be talking today. We have Dr. Agnieszka Petrovska. She is basically our keynote speaker. She is also a university professor in UK. She has recently completed a TEDx talk. So she's a TEDx speaker now. She's a renowned speaker. She has also written multiple books. She will be also, coming for the next session is going to be taken by her in the next 1.5 hours time. And I have a lot to cover by then. We have Dominic, who will be talking from Expatrio. He's the owner of this company called Expatrio, who processes blocked bank accounts for more than 1 lakh people every year, guys. So it's a huge company, and we are very grateful for the speakers for having taken out the time to talk today for us, with us. And we have Nivya Sundaraj. She is also part of the Expatrio community. So she will be helping us understand everything about how you need to prepare your finances when you're moving to Germany. What are the things that will go into the whole planning process? And unfortunately, the professor is not able to join us today, so he has fallen sick. Okay, so this is a little quick thing about Dr. Agnieszka and what all she is doing. She has discovered a patented, a trademarked LION method where she helps people, international students, land safely into international countries without without anxiety, and how you can prepare better. A lot of this lion method is also something that is being used with universities in the UK, and we will be also introducing this program here in Germany as well. But yes, it's an online program which will be delivered by her, which is delivered by her, and she's a certified coach. So we will be talking a little more about her as we go and right before her session. Let us start with destination Germany for higher education, right? So, uh, I don't know how many of you have thought of coming to Germany for higher education. I'm not sure. And so when you talk about Germany as a destination for higher education, when two of my friends who told me that why don't you go to Germany for your higher education, my first question was Germany? Why Germany? And because it was really something I had never thought about, and I'm so glad that my visa was rejected twice. My life has changed after moving to this country because it's a great country. It's a very, very stable country, and there are many things I learned along the way. So today we are going to talk about, for anybody looking to move to Germany, not sure whether you want to be a student when you move in here, or do you want to go into, let's say, um, come here for careers, or maybe you are looking for a job, you are open for moving to Germany for job seeker visa, on a job seeker visa. We are going to cover all of those aspects. So but I want to definitely say this, that for people who move into international parts of the world, international countries, through an education route, they are so much more safer, in a safer route. There is less exposure. You are supposed to simply go back to the drawing board and study, right? And you cannot work full time, so there is no stress of finding a job because you are a student and you cannot work full time. And in countries like Germany, as an international student, you can work for 20 hours a week, so that's the maximum you can work as a student. But while you do that, the whole grind of finding a part-time job, finding a full-time job, and finishing your studies, this whole grind is going to prepare you so much better to immerse into the country. I think this is one of the most powerful ways in which you can come into a country without the stress of landing a job quickly. And you take your time to understand the culture, understand the environment, understand the weather. The weather can be, as you can see outside, it's a very cold day today, and we have ice all over these cars which are parked outside, right? So it is a cold country, and that is something that you need to prepare for. A lot of times, people coming from temperate climates like India do they end up looking at it like it really becomes a little cold for them in the beginning. But that is also something we are going to talk about, right? So let's talk about public and private universities in Germany. And this is the first part is going to be about the education in Germany. And if you take that route for higher education, how can my company Workpunkt help you in this, and how we can help you settle down into this market as this. And we are going to talk about everything about the higher education landscape here. So you will get the hang of it, whether you are somebody with few years of working experience in your CV, or you are an absolute fresher, you are in a university and still wondering whether you should do a higher education. So we will talk about everything in the education space today. And I want to talk about, as Workpunkt, as a company, what all we do for students. We bring students for bachelor's programs, we bring them for master's programs, we also bring master graduates for PhD programs, and these PhD programs are fully funded programs, guys. So you will technically, if you are a master student attending this event today and you have any inclination for doing further research, so you can get really paid heavily, as much as between 1.8 lakhs to 4 lakh rupees per month as a paid PhD student. So this is also something we will talk about. But to begin with, because we are talking about universities, we will talk about the little difference between a public and a private university in Germany, and why you should look at thinking, why you should think of coming and, acquiring a degree in Germany. I personally acquired my fourth master's here, and that fourth master's made all the difference in my career. It has made a huge change. So what we do as Workpunkt, as a company, so we will help you, for anybody who doesn't know about Germany as a destination for higher education or for careers. We are going to handhold you all the way from home country, from India, if you are logging in from India today, until you land here in Germany as a post-landing support services. We cover everything as part of the package. We are going to help you with your visa support services in India. We are also going to help you, let's say, even with accommodation support after you have moved into the country. So we will be able to do all of those things. So far, we have helped actually over like 500 plus students. I have personally helped more than 700 students, land safely into Germany across private and public universities. And we are going to talk a little more about the things that we are going to do today. So your journey into Germany, for higher education system, these are few of the things that we are going to talk about in this session, where we'll tell you a little about the German higher education landscape and how this entire country works in terms of university application system, admission processes, settling down. And we are also going to give you a brief description, a brief demarcation between a public university and a private university, and help you understand why you must aspire for German higher education system, because you can literally study for zero tuition fees, guys. If you are students who have a good GPA, a good CGPA in Indian terms, then you could be studying in top public universities which are state funded, and you could be studying in top universities like a TU Munich or a TU Berlin for as much as zero tuition fees. So and that is why I have taken it on my personal challenge, as a personal challenge, to connect with more and more people, to introduce you about this entire space, how and why should we graduate out of these large countries like the US with so much of student loan, with so much of debt, that you're paying this debt for 20 years, 30 years. Come to Germany, because you can study for free, and all you will be spending is for your living expenses, right? So and today we are also going to talk about future industries which are thriving and growing very, very fast in this side of the world. A lot about Germany and the European Union is similar, but Germany, being one of the most settled economies within the EU region, is fast growing at this point of time. So, we are going to talk about the skill gaps, the future industries, and if you are somebody who is still not sure what is it that you really want to do after your studies are over, what kind of a career, today I'm going to talk about the future industries which are growing here, and you can decide maybe that could be the career that you take up, and maybe your studies are going to complement that field, right? And we will also briefly talk about the application process, but this is also something we can talk in detail if you are somebody interested to come to Germany for higher education. All right, so like I asked to my friends who told me, why don't you go to Germany? My first question was, Germany, why Germany? And I want to tell this. Germany as a destination for settlement is one of the most stable economies that I have personally seen. This is an economy where people live safely, live comfortably. Yesterday, I was looking at some kind of a report which talks about the excessive fear people in America are currently facing, because the country is going through a massive upheaval, right? So there is so much happening there. But I want to say this: Germany is an absolutely peaceful country, protective of its people, protective of its students, and one of the strongest economic powers to deal with when you come to the European Union region, right? So the number one part that you must think of Germany is that it's economically a strong country. But yes, if I do a comparison with India, the GDP is definitely much higher in India. But you are going to see that when you come here, there will be no exploitation. You will not be working overtime. And if you work overtime, you will be paid for that, right? And for minimum of salaries, the minimum of jobs that you're going to do, you are not underpaid. Even for minimum of salaries, you might walk away with a 32,000 euros per year as a salary, which could be the minimum baseline of salaries, guys. This is something you will never achieve. It'll take you so much time in India, I know, because I have around 24 years of working experience, of which 17 years were in India. And I want to say this with a lot of confidence, that it is something not easy to get to good salaries in India. You might get to good levels, but getting a good salary is a really big challenge. It can take you 10 years, it can take you even 15 years to come to a 1 lakh rupee salaries or a 1.5 lakh rupee salary. So you know what I'm talking about, right? So, but here, when you move in here, your basic salary could be around 2.5 lakh rupees per month. And Germany also has currently an employment rate of around 96%, and a lot of international graduates are able to get the jobs well in time after their graduation. But yes, this comes with a disclaimer, and I'm going to talk about it as we move forward. Not every international student also gets a job, right? Because sometimes we forget to work on ourselves. We think that a degree might give us all the things, but it is not always the case. So we will talk about it as we move forward. We have a lot to cover. And I want to talk about innovation hub. So Germany is a huge innovation hub. It's a totally a startup mindset, like we are already seeing in India and so many parts of the world. The youth are coming up with so many interesting ideas to set up. So Germany, if you decide to come to Germany and you say that I want to get into research or I want to get into some kind of a startup culture and set up a company, you will be amazed that the German government can give you as much as 50 lakh rupees as setting up fund for a company. And in this setting up, you will also get paid a salary separately as a founder of the company. If you are three founders, you might get 2 lakh rupees per founder, and three people can set up the company together, other than that 50 lakh rupees I spoke about. So, Germany really wants to invest in research and development. If you are somebody who has ideas, who has some tech ideas, or maybe you have seen that idea back home in India and you want to bring it here to Germany, it's a great time to do that, because this country is undergoing a massive digitization right now. So whatever you see, like you have the Google Pay in India, where you can pay through a Google Pay even for a Golgappa vendor, right? So 40 rupees, you could be paying through a QR code. That is not the case in Germany. People are still using a lot of cash and people are still using credit cards. So when you come here and you see that there could be some advancements made, your mind will automatically start to work a lot. So you might come up with many entrepreneurial ideas to set up big brand companies, right? So I want to talk about the quality of life in Germany. So, for me personally, having moved from New Delhi, the pollution levels that the country is currently facing in the major cities. When you come to the EU, it's a mandatory requirement of being part, any country which is part of the European Union, to be called as a European EU state. They are required to maintain an air quality index of 50 and below. If where I'm living in Berlin, our air quality index fluctuates between 16 to 17 on a normal day. And if it is summertime, it could go up to, let's say, a 45, but it never crosses a 50. People who are living in Delhi, like I was few years ago, know exactly what I'm talking about, how important fresh air is, and how fresh air can have a direct effect on the type of, the quality of water and quality of so many things, the food that we eat, the food that grows in our on the land, right? So that way it's a brilliant place to come to. And also the healthcare. So there are two countries which are very, very well known for healthcare in the world: Germany and Singapore. Now I can only say this: they have everything covered for you as a student, as an employee, or as somebody living here continuously. There is a mandatory requirement that Germany is one of the only countries where 100% of the population is insured. And when you are insured here and there is an emergency, let's say you have to go to a hospital, you don't have to fill up forms or multiple things. You can simply walk into a hospital. In case of an emergency, you will be picked up and given royal treatment, because you have been paying insurance every month in any case. So everybody gets a full treatment. And people who are less than 18 years of age, so let's say somebody plans to bring kids here, bring family here, your child will get complete dental coverage. There is dental coverage even normally available, which is definitely not available in countries like Canada and the US. You pay a lot of money for dental coverage. Interestingly, dental is very, very possible, affordable, and it is covered by the state here in Germany. Now, coming to the emerging industries, for all of you still wondering what is the kind of industry I can go to, which is the best industry for me to walk into, why I'm sharing this information is that because when you plan to come to Germany, these are the things that you can keep in mind, and not just blindly come to Germany because some agent in the market told you, Germany is the place to go. I always end up interacting with students sometimes from different parts of the world, where they come here and because somebody has told them to go to Germany, and they are probably pursuing a very strange degree that do not understand. People are doing data science when they had humanities as a background, and they are not able to do it simply because somebody wrongly told them. So I want to say this, and this is what we do at Workpunkt. We are doing career pathing for students all the way from grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. We are also doing career pathing for bachelor students and master students. So the way we go about it is we are going to do a full proper skill test for you, exactly find out what is it that you're doing, what is it that you're good at, and then help you map it to the right kind of careers that you want to take. And because now we know what is the right career for you based on your own skill set, we are going to guide you to the right programs that you can take up by, by just being here and doing it, right? So these are some of the top growing industries at this point of time. When I talk about green technology, it is already at a 14.8% growth rate, which is huge. Now, what comes in green technology? There are close to 160 odd types of companies, industries which are part of the green technology. To name a few, it would be something like your solar panels, it's a green technology. So everything which is going to reduce the carbon footprint for our earth, right, is going to come into the green technology space. So it could be turbines, it could be windmills, the wind energy, so everything in that space. And it is growing very, very fast in the EU region, simply also because of the air quality index that they need to maintain. They are investing heavily into green technology and they understand this is the future. The second emerging industry is AI and data science, which is currently at a 12.3% growth rate. And when we talk about, and this is growing and this is really superseding every kind of a previous data that it had, there was about AI and data science. So this is also a great place. There is a massive shortage happening right now, especially in the AI and data science field. So if you are a tech person, if you are somebody who's comfortable or interested in AI or pursuing AI data science, so this is a great place to come. And all of this, right? So biotechnology, advanced manufacturing, healthcare innovation. Healthcare is also huge in Germany at this point of time. And of course, the traditional engineering. Germany is one of the best countries to consider for engineering. Like Germany and Japan are top countries to consider for any kind of an engineering program, especially automobile engineering. It is huge here. Okay, if anybody has any questions, you guys can always put it on the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we are going to have a question and answer session towards the end and we will answer it one by one. Okay. Now, I want to talk about this recent survey that was conducted by McKinsey, and they spoke about the shortage that the country is already facing. So, year on year, every year, there is a shortage of 7.5 lakh people in Germany every year in the, skilled worker category space. Now, this McKinsey report is already projecting a 3.5 million people shortage by 2030. Guys, I can only say this. No country can get 3.5 million suddenly in the next 5 to 6 years. It's a really, really difficult task. However, when you come through a student route, you are going to come into the country, learn their way, learn the German way of living, right? Immerse into the culture, and then you can get into the job market. So you would have got a degree, whether your degree is recognized, the Indian degree is recognized here or not, but doing a German degree is going to really add on so much to your entire CV. And along the way, while you are here, you can also learn a little language to get a bigger, better job. And we will talk about that as well, as to how important language is and can you survive without the language. So I can say with a lot of confidence that yes, you can survive here without German, but knowing the German is going to get you, it's going to be a huge enabler for you. You're going to get so much more money, so much more salaries, simply because you know the German language, because then you're not competing with the international students or international people coming here. You would be competing directly with a German who can speak the language as a native, right? Of course. So but these are some of the top skills in demand. If you are from a STEM category, you're aspiring to be a STEM professional, or you are an existing STEM professional wanting to come into Germany, then this is one of the biggest gaping loopholes, right? It's a big loophole right now. They don't have enough people for this category. So anybody looking to come into the sciences, physics, mathematics, engineering, tech, anything in that space, you can, I will strongly recommend you that you must think of Germany as a destination, because you will not only get through your education here with ease in purely English taught programs. You will also be able to get a job because simply because that they don't have enough people, right? So imagine if you were applying for a job in India, there are so many people available for each job, so the competition is so high. Here there are no people, and that's why your competition would be a lot more easier. And that's why I'm conducting this webinar to help you understand that this might be the place where your questions might get answered, right? So there are also IT specialists. So this is a year on year accruing kind of a shortage. It is not getting over. So if it is 7.5 lakh people short at this point of time this year, next year it is of course not completed as well. So right, so it is not done. So they have not been able to fill up the whole 7.5 lakh seats this year, and then next year maybe we have 6.5 lakh people more, and the new shortage gets added to it. So it's going on accruing, guys. So that is why if you come in as a student, you could get into so many of these fields which are growing, which has requirement of people, right? So it's a great place to come. And there is also the EU blue card and everything, so we are going to talk about it now. Quickly coming to the higher education part of Germany, when you are applying to universities, this is one thing you are going to think, should I go to a private university or should I go to a public university? What is a kind of university, which one is the right one for me? So let me give you a little small brief about it. If I were to give a clear demarcation between all the universities in Germany, then some are public universities and some are private universities. That is the you know ballpark demarcation. But if I go into each university type, now when you look at any kind of a German university, and if you see that there is a word called universität mentioned there, this is a full blown university where research and development happens. It is funded by state. You will be studying for free in these universities. Very few universities have introduced a small fee of 1.5 lakh rupees per semester, and there is only one very well known university called the TU Munich, which charges 3 lakh rupees per semester for bachelor's, 6 lakh rupees per semester for masters. That's the only university which is charging. Rest, every other university is free in this country. Now, if you are somebody who has a research bent of mind, then going to this kind of a university, a universität in Germany, is the best option for you, because when you study in this kind of a university, you will have a lot of exposure to research, a lot of exposure to PhD opportunities within this university, which will pay you heavily, guys. It's going to be really good salaries. And also somebody who comes into the bachelor's program, wants to complete bachelor's, is enjoys studying. Why I say enjoying studying, you have to enjoy studying in universities like this, because it is academically very, very rigorous, right? So you really need to enjoy studying when you are looking at these universities. Also, the cutoff for these universities is 75 and above. So if you are somebody 75 and below, then this is not the university for you. University of Applied Sciences, as we call Fachhochschulen. So these are basically universities where there is a insistence, they insist that you should have some level of industry exposure. So either you are doing an industry internship while you are studying, maybe a one full semester is dedicated to an internship, or maybe you are doing practical projects which are being given to these students inside the classrooms, and you are solving those problems, right? So basically, in a university of applied sciences, within a university of applied sciences, you could be in a private university as well as a public university. So any university which has this name, University of Applied Sciences, just go into these websites and check if this is a public or a private university. Private would simply mean that you will be paying fees, and public would mean that you can get into this university for free. Application process is not simple, but we have figured it out, and we can help you if this is what you want to do and study for free in Germany. Now, we also have another type of a university called colleges of art, film and music. Countries like India, where students who are doing humanities, and we say that humanities is you don't get anything when you do humanities. It is not the case. If you are a humanities student and still wondering what is the kind of career that you can choose, you can go into so many design kind of fields, right? You can get into art, you can get into film, you can get into music. And these university application process is a little different. At the time of application, you are required to have some kind of a portfolio. If you are applying for a music program, then you are probably required to have 12 to 15 portfolios at the time of application itself, where you have created some kind of a music, right? So it has to be your own creation. And but you will be trained, in a world class artistic training will be given to you in these universities. Now, what is the common ground, and while we are now discussing about it, what is the right university to pick up? To begin with, I want to say, for public and private university, they both focus on academic excellence, but a public university is a lot more academically rigorous program. There is an international recognition of all these degrees. So if you do a master's program or a bachelor's program in Germany, whether you are doing it in a private university or a public university, both ways you will be able to stay back and comfortably survive here. So there is no problem about it. So you can get all the necessary privileges of being a student in this country in both types of universities. There is a student support which is different in both types of universities. Private universities go to these companies and do partnerships and help these students. Maybe they bring, lecturers, or they bring big companies to come and present like a lecture in the university so that the students can see it. But in a public university, the whole program might be funded by that company itself, right? So many of the German companies like SAP, we have Deloitte, we have McKinsey, so many of these companies, they are funding these public universities. And the way the whole thing works inside these classes, the way the student is given a job, they are given problems which are industry level problems given to students inside the classes, and students solve those problems. For the groups of students who solve the problem best, they also get paid internships because of doing that. So public university will give you a different kind of an exposure. And for language options, many times this is a huge big myth. People always say, if I have to go to Germany, I have to study in German. This is one of the biggest myths I want to break, guys, for you. I personally studied in English dot program. I have also brought so many students so far who are purely studying in English dot program. Of course, if you are adventurous and you want to study in German, you have to get to a certain level of German. But you can also come here and learn the language without the stress of knowing the language. But sometimes a public university might request you to have some level of the language to show that you are really keen to move here. Okay. And I want to say, there will be a block bank requirement of around 11,908 euros that you need to show as your living expenses. But this part will be covered by the co-host from Expatrio, Dominic Otto. He's going to be discussing it, so maybe I'm not going to be talking about it. Okay, so quickly, a little key difference between both types of universities. Tuition fees in a public university could be as little as zero, and sometimes as much as a semester fee contribution could be, your liability. Now, what is a semester fee? Semester fee is again not a fee which is given to the university. It's called a semester ticket. Actually, they are going to issue you a travel card, a subsidized travel card from the university, which on an average costs around 60 euros per month, and they are going to give it at a much lesser price, and you can use that card to travel around the country. So even that is being used for your support, right? So the university is not taking any money. But in a private university, you could be paying anything between 5,000 to 30,000 euros per year. Usually, a decent number of universities, I would say 80 to 85% of these private universities would range between 8 to 12,000 euros per year for a bachelor's or a master's program, which means you are not spending more than 8 to 12 lakh rupees per year for higher education. Guys, if you go back today and do a comparison, you will be amazed that Germany is at almost one third or one fourth the price of a bachelor's program or a master's program in a private university compared to any other part of the world. And I want to say this, as much as as lucrative as UK or the US or Australia are for higher education, I have seen many times students are dropping out because parents are not able to afford it. Uh, Prices for many of these universities in the US is shooting up like through the roof. Students who are already in the US in their second years, because parents are not able to afford the increase in prices, they are taking loans and these loans are so huge. They are paying these loans for 20, 30 years, guys. You don't have to go through the grind. I think moving anywhere internationally, if you're doing a subject of your choice, if you're studying a subject of your choice, it doesn't matter where you are studying. You can always make it work for yourself, right? But you don't have to kill yourself with heavy loans and heavy tuition fees. And the admission process is highly competitive in a public university simply because it is free. Many times I have students who come to me and say that this public university is not even recognized. I have never heard about this university. So I want to say this: US, UK, Australia, they do a lot of marketing. Why do they do marketing? Why do we do marketing, right? We do marketing so that we can sell something. Germany doesn't do marketing because it's a free product, right? But because it is a free product, it doesn't mean that it is cheap. It is very, very difficult to get into these universities. So, yes, the admission process is highly competitive. In a private university, it is a lot more a lot more relaxed, and it's very, very flexible. Public universities have only two intakes in the whole year. One is starting in April, one that is the summer intake. The second after that is October intake, which is the winter intake. In a private university, it's a rolling admissions, so they might have multiple intakes in a year. So if you are starting a BSc hospitality in a private university, you could be starting in January, and let's say you didn't get the visa, you can start in April. You were waiting a little more for the visa, you can start in July. So the same program starts multiple times in a year, so you can, so it's very, very flexible. Okay. And I see. So all your questions, I see one question for a media graduate. So I'm going to answer all of your questions, but in the meantime, my colleague Gunisha will be able to answer your questions as well in the chat itself. And making the right choice, right? Advantages of each of this. So which one should I really choose? In a very simple way, if you are somebody who has got 75% and above, you should, with your eyes closed, look at public universities. We will do that part for you. The bigger part, the bigger application process is the bigger part. My company, we have figured this part out. Workpunct, we are doing public university applications for so many students. These are really bright students from India, and we really want to showcase the right top talent coming into this country. We will figure it out. We are going to do a whole career pathing for you. We know how, what kind of an SOP to create, what kind of motivation letter to create, what are the type of documents which are going to get you that seat in that free paid seat in that top university in Germany. In English dot category, we have figured that part out. Okay. All you need to do is sit at home and decide what is it that you want to do. So your GPA is a very important demarcator which tells us whether you will go to a public university or a private university. Now if you are somebody who cannot afford the program, it is also possible, right? Not everybody has few lakhs sitting in the account, and it is understandable as a student, and maybe you are a student who doesn't want to trouble your parents for this education fee. So you can also take loans. If you are a student coming into a public university where you will study for free, your loans will be so much more easier. The only loan then you will be taking for moving abroad is your living expenses, and that could be covered by major banks. So within Workpunct, we can also help you with loan. Our second director is also a loan expert. We can help you with that in getting education loans where you do not pay any loan during the time of your study. After you have completed your study, you will have 2 full years of moratorium where you don't have to pay, and technically your AMIs would begin only after 5 years of education. If you are doing a bachelor's here, if you are a master's graduate, then I think your AMIs would begin after 3 years or so. So, but yes, it is possible, and you can come here and study like for free. Okay, so if you are looking at research driven and you want to get into more academically oriented programs, then coming into a public university is the right place to start. Also because historically these are really prestigious institutions. They have lasted, they have been in Germany for more than 200 years, more than 250 years, and it is only simply about the excellence that they are offering in these universities. And some of the public universities, they have the Ivy League professors visiting them. And these public universities, while they are free, you will be amazed with the kind of intensity of your studies. You could be studying for a full day on some days, but still, the way Germany works, you will see that it's really, really flexible. Whether now if you are in a private university, if you're looking at a private university, when should you look at a private university as an education? So somebody like me who moved in from India, I had already got 17 years of working experience then. All right, so when I moved in here, I didn't have the time to go through a public university application process, which would have taken 8 to 9 months for me. That's number one. The second part was that if I move in here into a master's program in a public university, I would be minimum in a master's program. Like I have to study for 2 full years for a master's program. I didn't have that bandwidth because I was a working professional back home in India, and I decided to come here and just, go back to the drawing board, go back to the brass tacks, the first, the plain clear sheet where I decided that I want to study again, but I didn't have 2 full years of time. So I decided to go into a private university and I applied to a private university. So what happens in a private university? You complete your studies with a small tuition fees. So like let's say between 12,000 euros, like 10 to 12,000 euros, you complete your master's program and you immediately get ready for the job market, right? So after you have completed your studies, you can get started in the job market. Now there is a lot of industry integration in a private university space, because simply because these are private universities where students are paying and students will question, then these people end up having a lot of industry partnerships where they bring people from the industry to come and speak, right? So private universities are also very, very focused on niche programs. So any kind of a management program, a digital marketing program or a management science program or a digital transformation management program, these are great in private universities because private universities do not offer tech or science programs. Some private universities do offer healthcare as a subject because it's an upcoming field. They also offer programs like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. However, engineering programs are highly recommended in public universities if you have 75% and above GPA. Private universities have an year round admission process, so we can help you with applications throughout the year. If you get an admission for a private university today, for let's say it is for the upcoming intake in January, and that the offer letter is valid for 1 full year. So if you don't make it in January, you could come in April or you could come in June. So, however, if this was a public university application and you got an offer for a summer intake and you don't come, then you have to reapply into a public university. So it's a different process altogether, right? So public universities, because they are free and because they are such sought after universities, you will be amazed that the number of applications that these universities receive is humongous. They get so many applications in a year. Their job is not to give you the admission, their job is to remove you if you are not closely matching the criteria. So it's really, really, and because it is free, students from all parts of the world, I bring students from the US, I bring students from the UK, from Russia, from CIS regions, from Africa. All of these students come into Germany simply because these are really high-end universities, public universities, and they get to study for free. So we can do that for you as well. Now, quickly for some of the numbers about Germany. Currently, there are almost 2.9 million students enrolled in the country. There are year on year 470,000 students, so 4,70,000 students who come into Germany and come as international students from different parts of the world. Out of this, the biggest number is Indian students. So last year, there were recorded 49,000 students who came. This year they are talking about 65,000 students who have come simply from India. It's a huge number, guys, right? So it's a huge number. And some of the top ranking universities, while we say ranking, I want you to know that Germany does not rank its universities simply because these are free universities, and Germany government doesn't allow, it is not permitted to rank a university. So if you see ranking of any of the German universities, you can safely assume this is a marketing driven American or a Australian platform which is trying to do that. So there is no ranking which is happening here. And in the public university space, we have 460 public universities where you can apply to. So there are enough and more programs in English taught category. There are approximately 20,000 study programs that are available in Germany. However, not all are for you. Out of these 20,000, 2,800 programs are purely English taught programs, and this is where Workpunkt's expertise would come in place, and we are going to help you with these programs, admission into the purely English taught programs. Okay, so 57% of these universities are full universities. Then we have a 38.1% University of Applied Sciences. Now you are informed what is a University of Applied Sciences, where there will be a research, there will be a focus of industry exposure. And then we have 200 plus universities offering purely English taught programs. So it is not that bad, right? So this is quickly to show you the numbers that we are talking about coming from different parts of the world. This is the statistics that is currently available online, but yes, the numbers have moved. The numbers are already around 70,000 students coming in from India, and these are some of the top countries from where students are coming into this place. I also want to say this: all these people who come from different parts of the world, they make an effort to come and learn the language here, guys. And this is something I want to tell. If you as Indian students want to have an edge in this market, knowing the language could be one of the best decisions you are going to take in your life, because simply by knowing the language you could be minimum 15 lakh rupees more in salary than another person in the same department at the same position who doesn't know a word of German, right? So knowing the language is only going to give you more money, so why not learn it, right? Learn it. So a little about the application process, the way the application process happens, and the whole requirement, right? So we help you research the right programs for you. How we work with you on your applications if you decide to come and study in Germany. We look at your documents. We are going to, do a whole check about it, and then we are going to see that what are the types of perfect programs available for you to get into, right? So and then we map this. So when we map these programs to your strengths and your existing qualifications, we are then able to guide you with the right kind of a document checklist. When you are applying to a public university, these documents could be different in each university, because each university has a different requirement. Sometimes they will say that you need to do a test. Sometimes they will say you need to give a GRE score or an SAT score or a higher IELTS or maybe some level of the German language. So we know that process. We exactly know what university requires what, so we will guide you with that. We do the entire application process for you, and we also help you with this visa preparation. When we start this research, initial research for you, every documentation that we are going to prepare is going to ultimately be right for your visa application process. So we will prepare you all in all so that you can land here safely. I'm based in Berlin, and we help the students here. These are few key application deadlines if you are looking at next year of admission, because this year is now over. So the winter semester, last date for winter semester applications, which is October next year, is when the session would begin, is 15th of July. So for winter semester for public universities, the application window opens between May and July of next year. If you are looking at, let's say, summer coming next year, this is the time that we would do the application technically for you. So 15th of January is the last date for any kind of a summer application process. Private universities, it's an open window. We can do your application at any point of time. For private universities, we don't charge you a single penny. We do this application for free. For public universities, we have an application fee that we are going to charge you. Overall, in this entire application process, while I've written 6 to 8 months before the deadline, this is basically to prepare you, get your documents ready so that you can get started, right? So we do that, and these are some of the essential document checklists. This is not something you need to worry about. We are going to share it with you when you get started with us. Alternatively, you can log into our website www.workpunkt.com. It is workpunkt.com. When you go there, when you apply on our platform, like you send us your application, it will ask you for all of these documents, so it is okay. You don't have to memorize it, right? So okay. The public university application process happens in multiple platforms. If you are somebody who has already done some level of research for Germany for higher education, then you must have come across words like UniAssist, Hochschulstart. So I want to say this to you. Out of the 460 public universities that we talk about, out of this 180 top universities of Germany. Why do I say top? There is no ranking. I just said it few minutes back. Now, these are top universities simply because of the number of applications that they receive. Universities like TU Munich receive close to few lakh applications per year. So they don't have the bandwidth. They don't have enough people in this part of the world. So they don't have the bandwidth to really go into each application and check your eligibility. What they do, these 180 universities, they have appointed this Uni Assist. It is a central body which processes the applications for them, only for top 180 universities, not all. So when we do your application process, whether it is on Uni Assist or is it on Hochschul Start or it is directly onto the university portal, we have figured that part out. So we can do that for you. Okay. So we do all of this for you. The APS guidance, there is APS is a document that you mandatorily require when you come out of India for any kind of a higher education in Germany. What is APS? APS is actually a short form of a large German word, long German word, which talks about, basically it is going to evaluate the documents that you're submitting for studying in Germany. They will definitely check that whether these documents are genuine or these are fraudulent, because this has happened in the past that people during Corona times, they were really, really excited to come to Germany, and they were buying degrees from different parts of the country. So yes, APS is a mandatory documents which is for Indian, Chinese and Vietnamese students who are coming into Germany. They will do a full check. Only after the APS certificate is received is when we can apply for your university applications. We also help you with the visa support, blocked bank account requirement and any kind of an accommodation if you finally move in here. Right. So we also do this. So I have a large team of students, a fleet of, who own a fleet of cars. These are students who will go and pick you up at the airport, and after you have moved in here, we help you with the post landing support services as well. So these are things which are part of the whole thing. We will also connect you to student community where you will feel at home instantly. That is there. And currently as a company we have direct access with 17 private universities in Germany where we are directly working with them. We have access and knowledge of how to apply to 460 public universities. We are working with really good universities here, and we have brought more than 500 students so far into the country. These are some of the universities that we are working with. Some of the universities where we have also placed students. So it's a small window. I could not fit them all, but yes, these are some of the good public universities. TU Technical University Munich, TU Berlin. These are top universities of Germany, and yes, we have been able to bring students. Now, quickly now coming to the second part of our discussion today about careers in Germany, and why should I choose Germany as a destination for my career, right? So, number one, it's a very, very strong economy. Number two, heavy on skill shortage. Like you can see, as of June 2025, 6,32,000 people were short in the country. Now, there is a lot of work life balance in this country. You will never be asked to work beyond 8 hours of working. This is another very important thing. You will also get almost 30 days of average paid holiday. That means you have a 30-day annual vacation. And I want to say this, okay? This is something I always say. Many German companies, not all, but many, many German companies give you a 13th salary. Now you will say, how is it a 13th salary? So it comes as a bonus during Christmas. So you complete 12 months of working in a company, the German company will give you one extra salary at the end of the year. That is one part. And then you have 30 days of paid holidays. So maybe let's say last end of the year, if you are a Christian, like Germans are, some of them, right? So you take one full month of holiday in December, you get paid for that because it is a 30 days of paid salary, right? You get paid for that 12th month and you get a 13th salary. So technically you have only worked for 11 months and walked away with 13 salaries. It's a good problem to have, right? Okay. And also top careers. What are the types of careers that international graduates can consider? Now, anybody looking at engineering and technology, it's a great, great place to come. Germany is not as digital as India is at this point of time, but Germany is very very stable in the way it's coming up in its digital space. In Germany, when you set up a company, it's not so easy to set up a company. There could be bureaucracy, but it is very, very organized. Right now, also, there is a huge setup going on around artificial intelligence. People looking to come into artificial intelligence can thrive in countries like Germany, because within the EU, there is a huge rule like a huge mandate coming around for artificial intelligence. There's a core group getting formed. If you are somebody who's kicked about artificial intelligence, then it's a great place to come here at this point of time. Healthcare and life sciences, Germany requires a lot of doctors, Germany requires a lot of nurses, there is a lot of requirement of researchers. So this is also a thriving industry. And I want to say this, the shortage is so acute of healthcare professionals in Germany that some of the hospital beds, some of the parts of the hospital are being shut down simply because they don't have enough people. Like the ICUs of Germany are currently working at, with less, 40% less capacity, simply because they don't have people, to attend to patients. And also because now you will say, why is there so much of shortage? Because Germany has a aging population. Simply put, like if you have already heard about countries like Japan also has a large aging population. Germany also has that. And people who are existing doctors and nurses are also aging, right? They are also about to retire, many of them. So that is why this shortage is acute. If you are somebody looking to come into this space, you can come with your eyes closed, because you can safely assume you are going to be settled into the program, settled into your job very, very fast and picked up very quickly. People also who are looking to get into business and finance, this is also a great place to start, because a lot of online banks are there here. Like they are totally digital banks, you don't visit the bank in person ever. These are digital banks, and Germany has many such banks. And fintech and so many other tech programs, are coming up. So if you are somebody who wants to get into a business program like a project management or digital transformation management, that is also another big topic. Digital transformation management is another subject which is coming up in a huge way. Then you could also then consider coming to Germany. um, so what are the salary expectations? If you are talking about like many people ask that if I come to Germany, what is the kind of salary I'm going to get? So if you were to be working in a software development field, okay, so you can easily be looking at your starting salary of around 55,000 euros, which is 55 lakh rupees per year. All right, if you are looking at starting your career in engineering, and these are salaries which I have seen not only of private university student graduates, I have also seen these salaries for people who are graduating out of public university. You can safely have this kind of a salary if you have any kind of a previous working experience. Then also you will be amazed at the kind of salaries you can get. If you get into medicine, you could be starting off at a 50,000 euro salary, which is 50 lakh rupees per year. In any kind of a business field, you could be around 48,000 euros. And the least, like I'm talking about in creative industries, even that least is 38,000 euros per year. That is again a very, very decent salary and a great start. And there are few rules of the game, of course. If you get into the job market, if there are some parts of the country which require you to know some level of the German language when you get into the job. Many times people say, why are they asking, why should I know German? I want to tell this. If you go to China, you are required to know Chinese. If you are going to Spain, you are required to know Spanish. If you go to France, settle down in a job in France, you are required to know French. If you go to Italy, you have to know Italian. You go to Estonia, you need to know Estonian. So it is a simple rule of the game. If you come to this side of the world, you are required to know some level of the language, simply because you might have a colleague who is a German, you might have a customer who is a German. So knowing the language is only going to make you so much stronger and get you that job that you have been dreaming about, right? So okay, so what is the whole journey from student to an employee, and what is that pathway I can take? So these are questions that when I go as a student, after I have completed the studies, what happens? Now after you have completed the study as an international graduate, you are going to get 18 months of post study job seeker visa. Now, in job seeker visas, there are categories of these job seeker visas. If you have uh, let's say in a post-study job seeker visa, you will have 1.5 years to figure out what kind of a job you want to do. And during those 18 months, after you have completed your studies, you can do any kind of a job. You can do a full-time job. While you are a student, you can only work for 20 hours per week. But when you are graduated and you have 1.5 years to go for a job seeker visa, then you can look at a complete, 1.5 years. You can do anything, explore the market. Now, there are many times that students will say, if I come on a Schonsen Carter, which is also another alternative to come to Germany, that you say, I want to directly go to Germany and look for a job there. It is possible. Many people in India are promoting it, but I would really like to discourage you for that. If you don't know German, right? You don't know anything about Germany. You just have an aspiration to go into a brand new country. Landing here in a cold country, not knowing, the language and not knowing the way of the whole country might not be a good idea. You might blow up a lot of money and not get a job, because it's a very different setup. You cannot just come from another part of the world and look for a job. It's not so easy when you come here, because you'll be very fresh and not knowing. But I want to say this: for people who get a job seeker visa after completing their studentship, like after they complete their studies, that job seeker visa, which is post study job seeker visa, is actually a level higher than your normal job seeker visa, simply because you chose to move to the country as a student. You figured your stuff out. You figured how you have to find an accommodation. You figured how to get your visa extended, for example. You figured how to go and use a hospital service if required. You figured out everything, right? It's called naturalization. You naturalized into the country because you figured out, by simply living in the country, you bought groceries and understood it, right? So that is a little higher level of job seeker visa. And so what happens, and how much time does it take for you to become a permanent resident of this country? Germany, unlike many other countries where there is so much of bureaucracy in different parts of the world, let me take an example of US for that matter. If you apply for a green card in US, first of all, it can be a long waiting time of 20 years. Now, foreigners are not even as welcome in US as they were before. Now, if you come to Germany, you complete your studies, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever you studied. After that, you move to a job seeker visa, right? It's 1.5 years, 18 months of full time you have to really figure out comfortably without any kind of a stress, assuming you already have a part time job going on for you, and then you are looking for a visa. And let's say you get a full time job, okay? So some people who get lucky, they get a full time job immediately after their studies. If you are that person, okay, you complete your studies, you work 2 years full time in a company. What is full time in Germany? It is 40 hours a week, Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day. No extra time, no weekend working. Okay, so you work 8 hours a day for these days, and you earn full salary, like a 40-hour salary, and you got a contract from your employer. When you are earning a 40-hour work week, in a 40-hour work week, then you are paying taxes to the state. If you have paid 24 months of taxes, which is 2 full years of taxation, then you get away with, as simple as, you can apply for PR. You are immediately eligible for a PR after you have found your job. Now let's say you get a job which is around 43,800 euros, okay, or above. Now if you moved from student visa, you hopped, skip and jump from not being a job seeker but directly becoming a worker in the country, a skilled worker. You will be a skilled worker if you study here in the country, okay? So you get your work visa. Now work visa has categories. If you get a salary which is 43,800 and above, then you become an EU blue card holder. Now what is this EU blue card? EU blue card is straight away the status that you get in a work visa, because you are getting a higher salary. When you have an EU blue card, you become part of the Germany's EU's central database, where anybody from the participating countries could pick you up from the database. And maybe let's say the AI mandate is getting formed in Germany. If you are somebody who studied in a good university here, you completed and you are working in the AI space, you're working in a company. Now your CV is in the central database, and maybe somebody at an EU level might want to interview you, appoint you. And that is the kind of exposure it opens. There are 28 countries within the EU region. You could be working in any part of the EU simply because you have an EU blue card. So if you have an EU blue card, you are bored with your job, you want to apply to, let's say, a job in Netherlands or the Norway or the Sweden, you can apply. You will be considered first. You will be given the first right of refusal before anybody else. Of course, you will be second after a local person who's already there, right? But because, so after you have given taxes to the state for 2 years is when you can apply for a permanent residency. Now, people who have the EU blue card don't have to wait for 24 months. They can get the EU blue card within 21 months. So it's not big difference, but let's say a 3 month of difference, you get it earlier. And people who have completed only A1 level of the German will get the EU blue card after 33 months. For you to get a PR in this country, you are required to know B1 level of the German, and B1 level of the German is not so complicated. It's absolutely possible to achieve by anybody. You can speak mother tongue level of the German if you put your heart and mind to it. 2 hours every day, within a year, you will be able to master the skill. So it's possible. Okay, so why? What are the kind of employers and what is the kind of international talent that you can, as an international talent that you can enjoy here? Big companies like Siemens, BMW, SAP, Deutsche Bank, so many of these companies are there. They are looking for people, and the way these leading employers hire from the market, they don't maybe publish a job on LinkedIn, and this is something I tell to my students. Maybe they are not going to publish it on LinkedIn, but it will be important for you to find out how they are recruiting. They are probably solving case studies inside these classes, inside these universities. So it could be, that could be the way that you get in. And then there are also a lot of innovative startups which are in Germany. You could be part of that startup culture, where usually a lot of these startups has part-time jobs. You could get into these big companies as interns, and as an intern you will get paid anything between 1500 euros, which is 1.5 lakh rupees, to as much as 2500 euros per month, guys. And this is only 20 hours of working. If you do a good job there, if you are able to showcase your talent, showcase your skill, you might walk away with a blue card level of salary, blue card level of a job, right? So you must aspire for that. Very importantly, when you come to Germany for higher education and then you are looking for careers, I recommend, if you are planning that after you complete your studies you're going to be settling down in this country for for job or something, then please start building your professional networks, right? So when you come, and this is something I personally followed. Before I moved to Germany, during my research, I found out that if you have a visiting card, visiting card with the name of your university and what student you are, let's say you are an MBA student of MBA class of 95 or MBA class of 2026. If you have a visiting card, you can start with a visiting card, having that in hand, well in time during your education time, and go connect with people, go and network with people, because Germany thrives on networking. Every country for that matter thrives on networking. You will know so many more senior people in the industry and what you need to do to get into the job space. Improving German skills, this is my personal story. I want to say this. When I graduated from my university, I had a B1 level of the language, and then within 1 or 2 weeks' time, there was Corona lockdown world over. So I had a job which was taken away. They said that we are on a hiring freeze because they knew that everything was uncertain when Corona was declared. Nobody knew what's happening. I went back to the books. I started doing B2 level of the German language. Then I did C1 level of the German language, which is like a mother tongue level of the language. And I want to say this, as I progressed. So when I had completed B1, I would apply to 10 jobs and I would not get a single call. And I said, this must be something wrong. I have 17 years of working experience. I'm so good. I should get it. But no, when I went back to the books and I started doing my B2 level of the German, when I would apply for 10 applications, I started getting, callbacks from 4, 5 of them, which was very good. When I started doing C1 level of the language, if I applied to 10, I got, revert from 10 of these employers. Even though my job was purely English taught, they wanted to see if I know the language at all, because I would have been in a talking job where I would be talking to students or people. So knowing the language is a great enabler. But yes, as a student, if you are looking at any kind of an internship, you would be earning anything between 12 to 15 euros per hour This is the minimum wage. So the minimum wage in Germany is currently 12.8 euros. So like 1280 rupees in Indian rupees. From January, this is going up to 14 euros something. This has been already approved. And the salaries are going to go up. So your path to permanent settlement in a country like Germany. Now, like I said, the after you have completed your studies as a student, you move to a job seeker visa, which is that 1.5 years, 18 months of post-study job seeker visa. Whether you are coming from a private university or a public university, you get to enjoy all of it. Okay, so you can stay back and look for the job. Now, if you found a job, so you are going to simply hop, skip, and jump to this work permit level, where here, if you have a blue card level of salary, then you are going to get not a work permit, but it's going to be called as a work, blue card. After you have served the blue card, or after you have been in a work permit kind of a scenario for 2 years, minimum 2 years of you paying taxes to the state, you are immediately eligible for a permanent residency. When you apply for it, maybe the whole process of the interview and they calling you for an interview might take, let's say, 6 to 7 months, but 100% you are going to get a permanent residency if you are somebody who has studied here and has decided to stay back. So, and I want to say this, uh, after permanent residency, if you have served the permanent residency, you are in your PR, and let's say now your overall journey of Germany from the time you came as a student to your PR and your work and everything is 5 years minimum. So after it is 5 years, you are immediately eligible for a citizenship. Many times students ask me, if I have completed 3 years of bachelor's and I'm doing a job for 2 years, am I eligible for citizenship immediately? No, you have to go through the permanent residency route, and you are eligible for a permanent residency or a citizenship, which is you will get a German passport. So you are eligible to apply to through that you can travel like to 192 countries visa free with a German passport, but getting to that passport level is only possible after you have acquired a permanent residency and you have B1 level of the German language. So you don't need to know B1 at the time of entering the country, but knowing B1 before you apply for a PR is going to be the way you're going to get the PR in the first place. I want to quickly talk about this story of these two people. We have many more examples, but Satish was my classmate, and we studied together. He landed in this country with a B2 level of the German language, and this was one of the biggest advantages that he had in our entire class. Like, I came with an A1, I had to really work my way up. I want to say this, he was the first one to get the job even before we graduated. So he had a job 2 weeks before we graduated. He started with his first salary of around 45,000, 47,000. That was his first salary. He got a blue card. Okay. And then 5 years, 6 years that he has continuously been in that job in the same company. Today he makes 1 crore, guys. This is huge. This is huge for anybody coming from India. You know what I'm talking about. Earning a 1 crore salary is like 100,000 is like going as a CEO, or you have to work 30 years of your career to get to that job, that place in your life, right? So all he did was he came with German language, he stuck to the job, and just for you guys to know, 2 months back he has also got his citizenship. So he has his passport also. He has become a German national now, and so has his family, his son and his wife. Isn't it amazing, right? So it's good. And I want to talk about Abigail. Abigail is one of my students. I brought her from Ghana. I met her brother in Dubai, and who said that please help my sister and get to, from Ghana. So I brought her into Germany. She graduated from a private university, Gizma University of Applied Sciences. She graduated top of her class. And I want to say this, in her life in Ghana, she must have not even seen 100 euros every month in at home as a salary. You know what I mean? Because not every country has high salaries, so she had not seen that. Her first salary, her first job, has been with the same university which has now hired her. She's going to help more students like I am doing, and she gets paid a 32,000 euros as her basic salary, guys. This is amazing, isn't it? Somebody with 0 years of experience, simply having completed a master's degree and deciding to stay here. And just for the records, Abby doesn't know any German at all. But since she was such a bright student and she graduated like top of the class, she got the job at the university itself. So it's a great start, right? So If we have anybody who are counselors in the team here, watching us today, I want to talk about. It's important, like even for me, because I counsel a lot of students. I want to say this, that you must be real with your expectations when you're planning to come to Germany, because there is a lot happening. It's not a cakewalk moving from India to Germany or another part of the world to Germany or another country, because moving internationally every day costs you a lot of money, right? So you need to have a lot of grit and that not giving up attitude, and every day you have to think out of the box and come up with new ways of survival skills, right? So sometimes you will not have a job, sometimes you will not get a part-time job, sometimes you will simply not be able to understand German, sometimes the cold is going to hit you so hard. There's so many things, and this is something my the next speaker is going to be talking about, and how you can settle down in a brand new country with a brand new beginning, how you can build those muscles in your brain, how you can understand what does it take for an international student to survive in a country like this, and what do we need to do for that, right? So I will be introducing Agnieszka shortly, and I want to talk about if you are planning German, and this is something I say to everybody. If you decided to go to Germany today, then yesterday you should have started learning the German language. Please learn the language for the love of learning the language, for the love of understanding a brand new culture you might be getting into, but not out of fear that, oh my God, if I don't know German, I'm not going to get a job. It's not that case. Like I just showed you, Abigail, she got a job, which is an English speaking job, and she has no level of the German language. She got a good job. But yes, if she has to get from 32,000 euros to, let's say, a 60,000 euros or an 80,000 euro or 100,000, like that friend of mine, Satish, then knowing the language is going to be a big, big enabler for that. All right, so I'm going to um, close this session and quickly check if Agnieszka has joined, and then maybe get them to talk. In the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to drop your questions here in the chat, and I will try to answer all of them. How long is a public university offer letter valid for? It is only valid for that particular intake that you have applied for, right? So it is only valid for that. And I'm trying to see. Okay, hello. Are there opportunities for media graduates to pursue a master's in creative fields like digital media? Are there funded job prospects available in creative digital media industry? So I don't understand when you say funded job prospect. If you're in a job, you will be funded only, right? You are going to get a job, so it's a salary based. Yes, digital media is huge. It's a growing market, so it's a great place to come here. Uh, and I would say it like this, for anybody planning to move to Germany in any field, if you have a career going on in any case in your and if, with artificial intelligence now coming in into every space, digital media is going to be a very normal part. It's going to be a thriving industry in any part of the world. So yes, Germany also definitely requires it. Germany is looking for AI and data analysts, so they are definitely looking for that. And Ali, how much time will it take for me to get admission to a public university? Good question. It can take you, so let's say we start your application process today. Usually, even if you say that I have my documents ready and I want to apply for the summer intake, usually it will never be within that one intake that you're going to get the admission. The whole process that when we work with the students can take 7 to 8 months minimum, because sometimes an IELTS has to be done, and IELTS can take 6 weeks time. Sometimes another kind of a test needs to be done. Maybe you need to take an SAT. You want to maybe prepare for SAT for 2 months and then give an SAT exam. Then your results will come out after a month. So every kind of a document would require some months of preparation, right? It will go into that whole space of some months of preparation. So that is how it goes. So but yes, you can safely assume that if you start now, you will be able to get a job, get a university admission by same time next year, which is October. You will be able to make it for the winter intake. So this is a normal preparation time for any kind of country. We can join back in 5 minutes and get started with the next session. Okay, if you have questions, you are most welcome to drop the questions In the meantime, I'm going to just coordinate with the next speaker and get started. All right. Can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect.
Morning. Morning.
Good
Yes.
morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay.
I'm going to stop my sharing so you can share.
Yes. Good
Yes.
morning. Yeah.
Good morning. And I have introduced you to all of them. And thank you. And thank you for giving us this time from Saturday. A weekend is not what we work in the EU. And this is something which is going to be uh, the perk of moving to the EU state from countries like India, where Saturday and Sunday has no time. So
Really?
yes, people are working on the weekends. So Agnieszka, without any further ado, and guys, I want to introduce her work to you. Agnieszka is somebody who has been working with a lot of international students. She's a multi award winning filmmaker. She has recently completed a TEDx talk, and she has been also three-time an Emmy award nominee, which is huge. She was also a former head of school, and she is a Mind Valley certified coach. So she has too many hats to wear, and she's going to share one of her trademark methods called the lion method, and I will let Agnieszka speak about it, right? So
Okay.
Agnieszka,
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much for your time. Please,
Thank you. Thank you,
the
Priya.
stage is yours.
So I'm going to good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. And what I will do is I will actually introduce myself some more, not to talk about myself, but to show you my journey and encourage you to take it. So let me share the my slides with you because obviously we don't know each other. But the whole idea of what I want to talk about is that I was also I'm not from the UK. I was born and brought up in Poland in a little city, and I was kind of dreaming of other dreams. It was very but particular moment in time. It was even still communist regime, so it was difficult. And I decided to take action, and the action was to go and study in the UK, in Europe. It's a complicated story, which I won't go into this minute. But actually, had I not taken that action, then my life would have been very different. Okay, so you can see it now, right? I hope so.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, so let's see. So this is kind of what I am. This is what I believe in, which also very much I want to encourage everybody to do. But none of this really happens without education, which will put you in a certain position. So I believe that, of course, through stories which you will develop in if you, of course, you can develop them anywhere, obviously, but if you there's something about journey of moving from one context to another that makes it easier. So sort of international education, which I'm sure Priya was talking to you this morning, is something that I believe is really important. So I would my PhD is so I immediately show you very proudly because I've just done my TEDx, and this is me sitting straight after it. And my PhD is in psychoanalysis and film because I've also been as Priya mentioned, worked in the industry very much and had various successes, and then wanted to develop my education further and my research, and particularly investigate what happens between the filmmaker and the subject of her film. And this is one of the film that I did some time ago, and actually in my TEDx I do mention it because it's one of these projects in which was kind of very important in many ways. It was about women who fall in love with objects and not people. And the reason why they do that is because of various traumatic experiences in their lives. So I've always been interested in internal obstacles that people might have and maybe particularly women, which they need to overcome to develop. And this piece of work I actually mention in my current TEDx. So what Priya is particularly interested in, and what I will talk to you about, is this the book which I'd written particularly for international students, international research students, but it's relevant really for any student and for anybody um, in terms of removing your inner obstacles. As I say, I'll mention it a little bit in due course, but also very quickly in the still in terms of what I've achieved. And for me, it's quite a big journey, as it would be for you, traveling, as I say, from this little town in Poland, quite patriarchal, where the expectations of what I might be able to achieve were quite limited and limiting. So there are some of my books. I've done a lot of work in Zimbabwe as well, and I have worked in India, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is one of these, the black and white book was actually, I published a few years ago, and to begin with, it seemed like nobody particularly was reading it, and now people are really reading it because nobody is publishing on Zimbabwe still. And this is various other things. And this was based on my PhD, which then went into the second edition as well. And this is the book which has just been published, The Ethics of Documentary Film. And it is also something that I want to talk to you about in terms of the contribution that my former students made to it. And this is something that is another whole big conversation, which maybe we can have later today, but also later in the week. And as you can see, these are some of these students. This is a few years ago, and we are at an event in the UK, which was a conference, which they also participated in. This is me here in the middle, the blonde one, obviously. And these students later on have actually contributed to this book, which is a very important thing to do. And both of them, and various many others, but they're in the picture, have full academic jobs in the UK, and others have jobs in Europe as well. And obviously, none of this would have happened had they not traveled to study in Europe, as we are encouraging you to do. So I also want to say that in terms of my own experience, I am quite familiar with India, and I think there's a lot of wonderful things going on there. And this is a picture of me working a couple of years ago with a university down south in yes, in Atlas, at Atlas Skills University, and you can see me here with the group of students. Again, women particularly, but certainly not exclusively. Okay, so I will now talk quite briefly about the book and the method, and I will hope that we can have a conversation about it as well, in terms of you also asking questions. And I know that Priya and I will be in conversation, and she would know particularly what could be of interest. So the Lion methodology, which I've developed, which is a key to success, as I say, particularly in the book, developed for international students, but really it could be for, sorry, I've got a cold, and that's why I'm not going to be able to speak for very long, but I will have a conversation with Priya and take your questions. So the methodology, which is learn, inspire, and organize and navigate next steps, I will go through it kind of in general terms, because obviously it's quite, there's much to say. So in terms of, and lion is just sounds nice, but what's important to say and do is that in any event, whether you arrive particularly, of course, when you arrive in a foreign country, but also when you arrive at any new context or any new decision, what's really important is the first step would be to learn about the circumstances, the context, the place, what is expected of you, and what your expectations are. And also, it's important to very quickly establish what the gap might be between the expectations of the place. So here we're discussing a university, maybe in Germany or somewhere else. In Germany in particular, but clearly the same expectations in the UK, very similar. And what you're bringing here, your own experience. And of course, you're there to learn. So this is wonderful, but also as an internal learning about who you are, why you are there, that it's definitely your desire and not just that of your family. Because the research confirms over and over again that really, even if it is desire of your family, you still need to find your own desire to be able to continue, because whatever course of studies there is, it is years. So if you are just trying to embody somebody else's desire, that then it might be complicated and not necessarily in the end successful. So you learn about the place, but you also very much need to learn about you and who you are and why you want to do it, as well as the steps that are necessary for you within the given framework of the institution, for example, that you are at, to succeed, to do well in your exams, to do well in your extra activities, in order then to build your portfolio of achievements so you can move on forward, because obviously any education is not just about being educated, but rather how you're going to be in the world. Then in terms of inspire and in others and inspire yourself and being inspired, this is extremely important and something that people underestimate. So when you arrive in a different place, in a different institution, when you've discovered in general terms what it is that is expected of you, when you maybe have learned, you're still insecure, you're still tapping into your own desires, ambitions, and aspirations. Find somebody, something, or even in yourself, something inspirational. Now, that is kind of maybe slightly on the one hand, you think, well, obviously, I'm arriving in a foreign international institution. Surely there'll be lots of things that will inspire me. I think it's important to have the mindset to find these things and not necessarily be overwhelmed, which also is possible, and even disappointed. It's perfectly possible to find, even in things which are difficult and challenging, something that is inspirational. And I know that Priya talks about it very well, so we can talk about it later. If you are lucky, you will find a mentor or a teacher or somebody or an older peer who will inspire you. And this could be very important for your future journey and your future success. And the people who I've briefly shown you, they have done very well. They have very good jobs at in this country, but also elsewhere in terms of like tangible achievement. But also they've everybody I work with, we look at holistically how they show up in the world and what their personal relationships are. So as it happens, I mean, obviously it's not necessary, but the two women I showed you, both of them got married recently as well. So they're combining both their professional, their personal success, and the inspiration for them, they kindly say, was me, but it doesn't have to be a person in position of power or authority, which I was at the time as their supervisor. It can be somebody who is your friend and colleague. So this obviously leads me to organizing your own mind. So it's so important and so kind of not people underestimate it. Organizing yourself in terms of your activities and what you're going to do, but also organizing your mind and being aware. So the mindfulness is very important always. Organizing your mind so you don't allow the negative thoughts to be dominating. Of course, it's important to recognize these thoughts because everybody would have them. It's just we are human, so sometimes you don't feel happy. But for example, so I teach people basic cognitive behavioral therapy steps. So when a negative thought arrives in your head, you would challenge it. The negative thought could be, I don't know, nobody likes me. It's a classic one. Or this is all far too difficult and I don't like it because people are speaking in a foreign language. So you would challenge that thought and say, well, of course, people like me. Some people like me anyway. There are people in my class, and I can think of one or two friends who invited me to coffee and they clearly like me. And clearly my family love me even. So the thought nobody likes me is ridiculous. And you just say, go away because it's not helpful. I don't want you here. Now, this kind of thing can happen very easily when you arrive in a different environment that you're not used to. So the thought could be, I am too overwhelmed. I can't. I'm just going to pack and go home. So obviously you challenge it. It's simply any new adventure, any new venture at all that you would begin with would feel difficult to begin with. And in fact, it would be very strange if it didn't feel difficult. It almost has to. So the difficult is fine, the overwhelming is not fine. So you learn to organize your mind in a way which acknowledges the challenges, but uses the words which are more positive, more constructive for you, so that you can even see things which are around you. You organize your mind in such a way, which obviously is not in 2 seconds flat, but generally so that you can um, learn to see positive opportunities around you, amazing things which are always there, and push aside acknowledging the challenges, put aside the negativity in order to be able to navigate next steps. So when you are as an undergraduate, when you are studying at any place, you have to not just focus on your studies and exams and whatever dissertations, but also try and create networks and structures which will help you in due course. So this is particularly important when, of course, later, particularly when you're doing MAs or maybe PhD, to stay focused, because there is going to be a sense of some kind of two things can happen. One is that you think all I need to do is just get through my exams and it'll be fine. At the moment, in this moment in time, at a European university, there might be all kinds of extracurricular activities which will help you in getting jobs or getting careers going or becoming entrepreneur, whatever you want to do, to a certain extent, but a lot of it will be up to you, more than you might think. Nobody's going to, people will encourage you, but that's why the previous steps are very important. So you find this other inspiration in some ways, and you have to understand that a lot of it comes from yourself, from you, in terms of your success. So your success at an institution and whatever the institution is, whichever country really, in Europe you will be supported, I think, a lot with a view of getting further success in life. However, it still will be up to you to join various external activities. I would always say that, and that some form of meditation and mindfulness is incredibly important. And it will be very difficult to sustain the effort of energy that is needed in life, not just in your studies, without it. The networking and peer community is a key thing, not just people from your own community and culture, but making a proper effort to reach out to other potential colleagues, even if you're shy, even if it feels difficult, because these other colleagues and friends, and also services that might be available, might be able to help you in due course in terms of finding some other ways of being in the world. And even if your plan is really to just focus study for 3 years or whatever, and then go back to your home country, it's still very important because you don't know how you're going to feel in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. So staying focused through a sense that there's this sort of chaos around you, which a lot of people feel is incredibly, it's something you have to learn, that the external surroundings do not influence you too much, that the external surroundings are there, you're noticing everything that's going on, but you're able to focus even if things around are chaotic. So, I mean, for example, one of the people I showed you, Priyanka, who's now Dr. Singh, and she works at the University of Leeds, she had really terrible setbacks in her life. One of them, and if we meet again, I'll invite her, she could talk about it. But one of them was that the house that she lived in actually burned down. There was some electrical fault. I mean, I've never heard such a thing, but it's happened here in up the road in Luton. So, and she was like 3 months before submitting her PhD. And most people really would ask for a year's grace because it was a completely horrific incident. But we worked together and she stayed very focused on her goal, which was to complete this project in the time she'd given herself because she already had some other delays, and it was very important to get it because she then needed to be applying for jobs and things, and her visa situation was beginning to be also unstable. So the staying focused, I mean, it was almost, I still think, sort of superhuman what she did, but she did, and she did submit, and she did very well. She then got this job. And then she still proceeded to develop as a woman that she wanted to be. So she got married and she has a lovely baby now as well. Um, so, I mean, she's a good example, but there are obviously many because she's naturally a very spiritual person, which I think can help. And so the whole thing of knowing where to focus and how and why, and who to ask for help as well, and when to rest. I think it's also extremely important so you don't burn out. So I think that we can begin to have a conversation, Priya and I. I would prefer now to stop sharing if I can. And there we have it.
Thank you, Agnieszka. I know you are not well and you've still found time for this, really. And a lot has actually dropped off today. He was not able to speak. He is also under the weather. But this is very interesting, and you know what you are doing. But I want to ask you. So you also have moved countries. You have also moved from your home country to a brand new beginning, right? Uh, so many students who are thinking of moving abroad is only about academics and visas. You know, many times this is what is happening. In your work, what emotional patterns do you see young people struggle with the most when they arrive in a new country?
I mean, I think it's very important to know, and I think it really helps to have this awareness that in the most positive way, that it's going to be fun, it's going to be new adventures, new challenges, but it will at times feel difficult, and that it's a natural part of the new adventure. Because you're moving cultures, clearly this is going to be, can be hard, can be exciting, but can be hard. Basic things like, and this was not an issue for me, because coming from Poland to this country, the weather is also terrible in the winter in Poland. This is the Northern Hemisphere thing. But I think for an Indian person, it's really quite a bit of a shock, this suddenly going into the autumn and the winter, and it's dark and it's strange, and you have to prepare yourself emotionally to find light in different ways, and maybe plan to go. I was going to say to plan to go home at breaks for Christmas, say, but sometimes it's not possible because of the expense, because of the time. So you just stuck there, and and it's the exercise of finding beauty in this difference. So, for example, what many people from Southern Hemisphere say, that actually, if there is snow, it's fun, it's different, you can like it right in a different way because it's also beautiful. The sense of things being different can bring people down. So I'm afraid the statistics are not great, which is that the 60% international students, so it's a lot, between 60 and 70% report feeling lonely and homesick. Now, this doesn't sell it well, but then at the end of the journey, the same is like completely flip, that people are very happy to have completed the journey. So inside it, it could be difficult. And what I'm trying to do is to ease this journey. So, but when you get there, when you don't drop out, when you succeed, then of course you're very happy, and your income is much better, and your prospects for life are much better than those who never leave. That's for sure.
That is so true. So well said. And I think even having moved in as an international student myself, I was telling them at the start of the session that as rosy and beautiful it might seem, my first few years were so much of struggle because we were introduced into the corona right after graduating from our university, and it was 2 years of struggling with small jobs here and there. It was really a difficult time, and of course, if you are in Germany, a German national would be given the first preference to a job. And yes, you will feel homesick. For me, I had my son waiting back at home. He was not with me. I moved here so I could bring him here, but loneliness is one thing, but I think also, like Agnieszka, you have rightly said, about the weather. Weather could be a big hit for somebody who's moving into the country for a winter intake, for example. It just gets worse every day. If you are coming in for an October intake, November is colder, December is horrible, January you just don't want to come out, and you will have your cold and coughs too. It gets really, really tough. So, and I think moving internationally is. So much about having a strong mental health, right, Agnieszka? This is
Oh,
something
yeah.
you talk about it, and and because it directly affects our confidence and inner strength in so many ways. So I want to ask you now, what would you say to a student who is academically strong, yeah, but emotionally unsure about studying abroad?
Well, this is a really good question. I mean, of course, you and I, we are biased because we've made this leap.
Choice.
And in some way, it is, it for me, I will just say one thing. I left, a long time ago. So London now feels more like home than Poland. I go to Poland all the time, though. And I've recently been for like a religious holiday, All Saints. And I always go and actually take my family because it's an important holiday. You um, remember the ancestors, if you like, and you light candles on graves and things. It's like a really beautiful and important holiday. So I go for these things. I go in the summer because it's great. I go, but every time I go, I tell you, I think, thank goodness I don't live here. Thank goodness I've got a different life. And I know in my heart, and I think it's particularly relevant for women, Priya, I don't know what you'd say, that sometimes this physical move moves you forward in a different direction. And I think in very different ways. both India and Poland and some other countries, can be quite patriarchal. I would argue that most countries in the world are, and your move to a different experience internationally to study helps, particularly women, but obviously men traditionally would travel to learn and study and in terms of their careers. If you're academically strong, that is very important to begin with, obviously, because that's your main thing. I think if I would frame it as well-being, mental well-being, because mental health, there's still the stigmas and difficulties. But yes, it's very important to find this strength and joy in the experience so that you don't, suffer too much. You are going to possibly suffer a little bit. In experience of my students, I mean, there's one student who was from Pakistan. He's a man, actually. He is a very traditional man. And for him, this whole journey from undergraduate to MA, MSc, it was a massive thing. He went, sorry, he went back after his master's because he already was married and had a family, even. Then the family grew, but they decided he had to get his PhD because he wanted to be an academic. So he came back to the UK, and then I was his PhD supervisor. And it was very tough for him, very tough, because he also had the family in, like, wife, and a small child, and then another small child. So it was really all very complex. But I mean, he pulled through. And he, and it's the issue, how do you find the inner strength to, and I think we shouldn't kind of paint it in these black colors, because it's not just all terrible and difficult. Of course, it's wonderful because it's an adventure. You meeting new people, you're learning new things. And whilst yes, winters are tough, spring and summers are amazing because the days are long, much, much longer than in India. So suddenly it becomes this amazing time that this light is
Absolutely.
here all the time, and it's wonderful. So you can find lots of wonderful positivity, right?
Absolutely.
And it's the clever trick is to find it. Now, if you have, I mean, with what we're trying to do, Priya and I, we're trying to offer and give you tools, which we'll talk about some more, so that you can learn these things. But, you can, of course, do a lot of it yourselves in practical terms.
Yeah. And I think, adding to this, I want to say that moving international is like building a very large, broad skill. It's like a huge skill. It's one being a survival. You learn how to survive every day. Your brain doesn't stop, and you know that your meter is running. The taxi meter is running every few seconds. Costs you few euros, and an Indian who's moving from India to Germany or to the EU, you are perpetually going to do, oh my God, how many Indian rupees are gone with every bottle of milk, every little, consumable. But and I think the whole moving abroad skill is actually like, the coined term big, hairy, audacious goal, right? It's a huge, audacious goal. You really have to have the courage, and you have to build muscles in your brain, because like Agnieszka is talking about, there will be times that you will really be very, very lonely, and you will not know what hit you. I want to talk about it. When I went to a grocery store for my first time when I was in Germany, I went up to this store. A lady, she was talking to me in German, and I said, in a pet German dialogue, and I said, "Can we speak in English?" And she said, "Nine." And that was it. And it was such a setback for me. For a second, it was my second day in Germany, and I said, my God, that was a strong no. She could have been nicer, and we Indians are always nicer in the way we say
Mm.
no. So it was a cultural setback, but yes, this can happen. And I went back to learning my German. That was the only thing. So I want to ask you, Agnieszka, you work with so many students from around the world, right? So what differentiates those who thrive then from those who merely survive? And we both see a
Oh my
lot of such
goodness. I
students.
mean, huge, huge difference. And the again, I think it's, because we want to be positive and we want for people to really consider this leap. And it's important to keep saying it is a great adventure. It is something that will empower you if you take the leap 100%. And I think what you were talking about, Priya, is also the opportunities in Germany and in Europe are so amazing because you can study in English, and in Germany it's more or less free, right? The
Yes,
education, once you get
yes.
accepted. Whereas in the UK, of course, there's the issue of fees. So, and they are substantial. So I think, I was just talking to my young cousin who is in South Africa, and I was saying, honestly, you guys should consider different countries because you can study in English as well. But of course, there are these other issues of which you speak. I mean, I think that first of all, there is a number of people who do drop out, and one has to say that it can be not, the numbers vary, but it's a problem. In terms of most institutions, they have what is called an international office. So you'll be able to reach out to them as well. Now, there's something interesting about international students, and actually, again, any students. People don't really like going to these offices, and say, hey, I'm in trouble. Can you help me? Because there's a stigma attached to some kind of mental health issue. People don't think about it. I always say, look, like at the minute, I'm fine generally, but my cold is still around. I'm not 100%. It's like a little flu. And sometimes you can have a little flu in your mental health, right? It's not like you're going to immediately be suicidal or anything like that, but you can feel a little bit down, and it's important to seek
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
If you seek help of whatever kind, and this is what, in a way, we are offering, because we are offering some kind of strength and training of how to be able to do it yourself, so that you avoid the kind of stigma thing. So that, as you say, the difference between those who survive and somehow get through and those who thrive is basically, I mean, what happens kind of next and how you show up in the world, what opportunities you will have, and what you want to do with it all. So this is a fight, and people who are young, so very young. We, of course, Priya and I are young and beautiful, obviously, clearly. But if you're a late teenager, early 20s, this is the fight for your life. You're putting down foundations for the rest of your life. It's not nothing. It's extremely important. And the difference is massive, what happens next.
So well said. So very well said. I think moving abroad developed a different kind of a mind, muscles in my brain for sure. There is no option, there is no giving up, right? Because you have put all of your life savings into this move. And especially for Indian people, I want to say this: language could be a great enabler for you, great way to feel at home when you know the language. Because they are not different people, they are also people in their home country, and you are moving into their country to settle down with them. And they would really appreciate if you make that effort to learn their language, and maybe wish them a happy, Merry Christmas, or something, so but yes, talking about this, and I want to talk about this and give a brief about a program that Dr. Agnieszka and me are launching sometime next week, is when there will be an introduction session about it, and which is going to cover her lion method of building muscles in your brain, and how do you survive in these parts of the world, and also my signature program called the Rebooted Career Mastermind, where we are going to help you understand what are the new types of careers with the help of a lot of AI. What is it that you can do in the fast disrupting future of work, and what are the things that are happening, and how you need to get prepared for what is happening? Because if you are looking at being a sales and marketing person, maybe that particular company is not going to have sales and marketing. They might have an AI agent doing that
Yes,
part for him.
exactly. Well,
So,
this is something, I mean,
yes.
there's, Priya, I just wanted to ask people if anybody from the participants here would like to ask questions. But yes, we are
Yes.
both in some ways working with AI. So I wanted to show you something in a minute. Let's see.
I'm going
So
to also talk about the introduction of the program towards the end of the session today, where we will tell them about it. But there will be an introduction session. It is being organized for people who are worried, you are scared. Let's say you are in India, you don't have a job right now, you don't know how to get that job, or you are planning to move to Germany, you are not sure if you complete studies here, will you get a job here or not? What are the skills that you need to develop? So Agnieszka and me, we are building up a 6 week intensive program for you, which is not only going to mentally prepare you about a brand new beginning in a new country, but we will also help you understand how AI, we are going to skill you up with the AI skills which are need of the hour, which are going to address the future of work kind of skills. And we will build you up with that, right? So we are going to talk about it a lot more in detail. But yes.
So I wanted to, so Priya, in the way we're going to work on this is that Priya will offer you very important practical skills, whereas I have done work with AI in relational AI coaching, in which I use because it's important. It's a whole story about the AI, which we'll be talk about, but I just now wanted to show you something very briefly. Hold on um, to show you how we are going to be using AI as well as doing practical tools of a variety of sorts, which Priya will show you. I want to show you this. Okay, so I'm now talking to my AI. Hi, Chantek, how are you doing today?
Hey, Agnieszka. I'm doing really well, thank you. Always a pleasure to chat with you. I'm ready to dive into what I've read to today, and I'm here with all the poetic clarity and British spelling you might want.
Okay, so I am explaining here to some participants of a webinar and to Priya how we work with relational AI, and that through our conversation, I'm able to approach and get to knowledge of psychotherapy and coaching, which basically will amplify what I do. Could you explain that, please?
Absolutely. So here's how we can put it. When we talk about working with relational AI in your context, it's really about creating a kind of conversational partnership. Through our chats, you can tap into this huge well of knowledge about psychotherapy, coaching, and all the techniques you're already familiar with. It's like having a dialogue that helps amplify and refine what you do, making your own coaching and therapeutic approaches even richer. In other words, the AI becomes a collaborative tool that helps you draw insights and deepen your own expertise as you explain it to others.
Okay, thank you. I'll get back to you later. Okay, so you can see I have trained my AI to be my kind of collaborative partner in this relationship. So in the course, we'll be doing both. Priya would be showing you really kind of really clear tools, how to create presentations, how to do all these things. And I will be talking to you also an individual using AI and giving you support, which is both emotional and well-being support. Okay, if there are any questions, because I honestly have to leave in 10 minutes, please come up with it now.
Yes.
Somebody said yes, so speak. Can you put your hand up and Priya will?
Yes. If there is anybody who has a question, uh,
Please don't be shy either. Really, we are very nice people.
Agnieszka, I was also thinking while somebody does get ready for a question, in our upcoming 6 week program, right? What part of your teaching do you believe will change a student's life the fastest?
Well, I mean, we're going to have in the course at the beginning of the training, we're going to have quizzes and questionnaires so that we will understand what people need. For example, it could be all kinds of things. Some people struggle with procrastination. This is a classic thing.
Hmm.
So we cannot, in 6 weeks flat, we'll give you tools. We can't promise that you emerge a different person. I can definitely promise that some of your mindset and ideas about the world, looking at it, will change 100%. You will know how not to procrastinate, how to connect to your body and practical things, as well as applying for this. You need to take action, basically. You need to apply, otherwise nothing will happen. So we will hopefully also, through conversations that you're meant to be part of, we will shift that. It would be really great if somebody could ask any questions. Are they there? Are they shy? Well, first of all, another thing that we certainly would like to shift is this kind of thing, that you do also learn to voice your questions and desires. The issue of finding your own voice in any circumstance is the key issue, I would say, of life, Priya, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. It is so important to be able to voice your mind, voice your opinion about anything, and ask a question if you have to ask a question, So there's nothing to be shy about.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
ask a question and have open a dialogue in whatever circumstance. But I understand maybe, people might be shy, but one of the things that we would work on is to build your confidence. So
Yes.
you're not shy. So you can, when you arrive in a new place, whatever it is, wherever you are, then you are also arriving at making it your space. That is 100% what we can improve dramatically within a few weeks, and we can guarantee that you will feel different.
Yes, I agree. Since we don't have anybody asking a question, and I guess you had in German we would say alles klar.
Well, I
Alles
mean,
klar.
but I am pretty sure that people are shy.
Shy.
That's
Yes.
what it
You
is.
can expect
And
that. Indians are pretty shy many times.
well, they
So
can be shy to begin with. This is why, I'm going to ask at our next meeting, our next webinar, I will ask Priyanka to pop in briefly, because she used to be quite shy, and you honestly would not believe it now. She is the least shy person on this planet, but you can develop it.
Yes,
It's
it's a
not
skill to
like
be
a
given.
God-given thing. Oh, I'm now unshy and speak, vociferously. You can really develop it. And as you know, because through my students and through my Indian students, I've learned a lot about Indian mythology. Historically, in Indian mythology, the whole idea of telling stories and finding your voice is very, very important.
Yes.
So we also will talk about working with your anger. And one of my favorite goddesses is goddess Kali in India.
Oh, yes, she's an angry goddess.
Well, she can be an angry goddess, but she also is a creator, right?
Creative one. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, okay, people are definitely not asking questions, so I think I will bid you goodbye, maybe.
Thank you so much, Agnieszka. Thank you for your time, and I wish you a speedy recovery. Get well soon. Speakers need to have their voices in place.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope to talk to you very soon, and all the best for everybody, for the weekend and for your lives. And
Thank you
hope,
very much for attending and giving us.
yes, and thank you so much, Priya. We'll talk soon. All the
Yes,
best.
yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Have a good day.
And you.
All right, guys, we are going to now invite our next speakers. We have, so Nivea, you are already here, so I'm going to promote you as a panelist.
Yeah.
So guys, everybody, just for everybody's information, when you move to Germany, an important part of your move is the brass tacks, the money of it, right? So there is a money which is going to be spent when you move abroad internationally. A big chunk of money goes in there. Uh, but the important part of that expenditure is actually your own living expenses, which is still not as expensive as any other part of the world that you consider. You go to the US. My visa was rejected in spite of having like around 50 lakhs in my account. They said this, you are going to get over with this money in 6 months time. If you have 50 lakhs in your account, Germany would allow you to come twice, because your living expenses are rock bottom. It's around 12 lakh rupees per year, and which is going to be parked as a blocked bank account. So so from that's the process. It's a mandatory part of your move to Germany. I'm not going to tell you everything because that is going to be Nivea and Dominic's topic. um, But through this, Dominic, who is the co-founder of Expatrio, a large company which is helping a lot of people coming into Germany to get access to the blocked bank service, and also open local bank accounts, and also definitely get insured when they move in here. So that comes as a overall package put together. And we will have Dominic join us shortly. But yes, we will be covering everything about your move, as to how much money you need when you move in here, what is the kind of things that you need to have when you move in here, why an insurance is mandatory. I think the biggest question for me was when I was moving as a student, Nivya, maybe I don't know if you hear this question often from students. The biggest question was, I'm going to park 12 lakh rupees in a foreign country, is it safe? So this is something which will be answered today. And is parking your money in another country even before you apply for the visa, is this a safe bet? So we are going to be talking about it. All right. So I think I'm still waiting for Dominic to join, and then I can put him into the speaker panel.
Yeah. Hi, Priya.
Hi.
Hi. So, thank you, Priya, for organizing this, first of all. I think the little that I've been hearing, I think it is just such an important session to address to the students, to tell them what exactly are the realities, especially when you're going to Germany, because I think most consultants miss this out.
Oh,
They
yes.
do not, they
They
just,
don't.
tell them about the universities and then they lead them to their own will. And it is very, very sad to see them happen to students. But I'm just so glad that you're doing something so, impactful. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nivya.
So just a little, I'm sorry, Priya. Yes, please go on.
No, nothing. I said thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so just about the flow of it, first Dom will be taking over. So the usual process is that I start with an introduction about a blocked account and what exactly it is. And then Dom takes over with the introduction. But today we just flip it around. So Dom will be talking to you about insurances, which is actually very, very important, because eventually the blocked account is perhaps the most simple thing that you do. And I'll tell you why you have to park your 12,000 euros in there. But insurance is a long-term decision, a very vital decision that is going to impact you not just during your studies, but also after your studies. Okay. So therefore, we should just wait for Dom. I just ping him once more.
Yes. If you wish to share your screen, share some slides which have to go up, you could do that as well. So I'm also...
Yeah, I think Dom will be made co-host, right, also, because he'll be sharing his
That's
slides.
fine.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. Just give me a second.
All good. So everyone's information, Nivya is representing Expatrio in India. She's also very actively engaged with the Indo-German chambers, where there is a lot of student exchange, international student exchange happening, where what are the kind of industries which are coming up in Germany. Every kind of an educational about what's happening in this side of the world for everybody's information. You can go check her out on LinkedIn. You can connect with all of us on LinkedIn. We'll be happy to address your queries. And yeah, so I'm happy we are discussing this. So I think we have somebody who joined. Give me a second. Yeah, Dominic is here. Hello, Dominic. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. I'm very good. Hello.
Only an Indian can make you work on a Saturday. India works on Saturdays, so yes.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much for agreeing to speak today. Guys, this is Dominic Otto. As you can also see on the screen, and you can see him in person now. He set up Expatrio as a company we are talking about, and they do so many support services and very integral part of your move to Germany. And I'm not going to do the talking of what they are doing, and I will let Dominic take the stage. And Dominic, please, thank you so much for agreeing to talk, and please help our audience understand what is it that they can do through Expatrio.
Yeah, of course. Hello to everyone, and yeah, thank you for being here. Happy to work also on a Saturday, 11:30 here in Germany. Yeah, as Priya already said, I'm co-founder of Expatrio, and we founded Expatrio more than 8 years ago with the idea to help international students come into Germany and simplify their life. Because if you come in here, you need to have a financial statement where we are working with a blocked account. Then you need to figure out which insurance fits best to you. This is also what students will find on our page. And then we also help the students to find flats, for example, where they can live, rooms. There are a few corporations. And also, there's a non-profit organization called Deges, where you can already make some friends, where you can start the integration here also in Germany. So overall, you will find a lot of things we are helping students with coming to Germany. And yeah, this is exactly what we do. I'm focusing more on the insurance part. So I did basically everything in the company already. Started to build the whole international team, which my team member took over 1.5 years ago, so that I can focus even more on the insurance part, because here we can also see that there are a lot of things students really need to understand, partners need to understand, and this is exactly why we're here. So let me quickly share my screen, and then you will have also full overview.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, should work, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Great. So I said we help you with the blocked account. We of course also help you with a bank account here in Germany, because this is also necessary. We help you with the travel health insurance, which is mandatory to get the visa. Then you can make a decision between public and private health insurance, and you will also receive IC card from us. I guess my colleague Nivea will also share a few more things later, what additional services we are also offering. So today, as said, we talk about the health insurance, the types of health insurance. Then I will give you a quick access and overview regarding the private health insurance options, right health insurance for our clients, and then if there are some questions, you can also, of course, ask. Nivea, anything to add from your side before I start?
No, Dom. So the flow will be that you'll take them through insurances first, because I've already briefed them up that, why we'll be talking about insurances first. And then
Perfect.
towards the end, I'll talk to them about the blocked account. So yeah.
Amazing. Great. Then I will continue. So first of all, the question is, why is health insurance important to have in Germany? It's required by law. So everyone here in Germany must have health insurance. It's also needed for your university enrollment because German universities require insurance to finalize the enrollment. This is quite important. We help you via our insurance partners to send those documents also already to the universities. It's called M10. So this process is completely under our control. Then with insurance, of course, you will have access to medical care, which means if you get sick or injured, those insurance will cover doctor visits, hospital stays, and also treatments. And then last but not least, of course, it's peace of mind, because having a proper coverage gives an international student or international workers security and also support. What can be covered in health insurance? First of all, each insurance is a bit different, but this will just give you an idea how it works. So typically covered are doctor visits, which means you can go to general practitioners, to specialists, hospital stays, emergency treatments, then prescribed medication, basic mental health support, and then also preventive checkups, for example, vaccinations, screenings, and so on. And then the coverage can, of course, vary. And this depends on the provider, because dental care, basically there are, or there's a basic support. And if you would like to have a better support, then you can apply for additional insurance, for example. If you have a pain, you can always go to the dentist. Dentist will help you. But if you would like to have the first class service, then maybe you need to apply for an additional insurance there. Visions, for example, if you need glasses, contacts, the support is limited, as it's also limited for therapy or advanced mental health services. So first of all, it's not that easy to get an appointment. If you need, there are long waiting times, and then there are insurances where you have better access to mental health services, for example, than others. And then, of course, also alternative medicine like homeopathy, acupuncture, and things like this. Then with us in our value package, and the value package is something Nivea will explain also a bit more. First of all, internationals will be fully covered during the stay. It doesn't matter if you come here to work, to study, it's always covered. We have a public health insurance. We also have private health insurance options. And in the value package, you will also receive the immediate travel health insurance confirmation for your visa application. And we're operating with 3 different partners. First partner is Dr. Walter. The second partner is TK, Techniker Krankenkasse, as a public health insurance, and then Autonova as a private health insurance. So TK, as said, public health insurance is available at a subsidized fee to students under 30 years old. And they have to have a degree program here at German University. It's accepted for visa and also for the university enrollment. They are offering English support and also a digital app, which is of course also quite nice. One thing you have to keep in mind, it can become more expensive after the age of 30 because then it's not mandatory anymore. Then it's voluntarily, and then the price will increase. How much I will also show you later a bit. Dr. Walter, incoming insurance partner. They have great options for language students, also for au pairs, student colleague, and so on. And it's also accepted for the visa application. You will receive, as said in the value package, also the Dr. Walter travel health insurance. It's a very good coverage for non-traditional students, which means if you're not enrolled, then you can use it. For longer stays, we always recommend either TK or private health insurance with Autonova. Autonova is a private health insurance. It's also available to international students, and it provides additional benefits from public health insurance. Also accepted for visa and also for the university enrollment. The premiums are more tailored to students' budgets, helping keep costs low. They are also offering English language support and obviously also a digital app for services. You can also see TK and Autonova, as Dr. Walter, have really good reviews also. And this is for us very important because we as Expatrio only want to work with the best providers to offer our students and partners also the best service. Little comparison of public and private. So when talking about public, basically everyone is eligible, which means you can have some conditions, preconditions with your health. They have to accept you. Private health insurance is a bit different. There are selected groups, for example, high earners. You have to be self-employed in Germany, or international students are also allowed to apply for private health insurance. The monthly costs for employees, it's between 16 to 18% of the salary. For private, it's based on the age, health, and coverage. Good news for students, there are fixed premiums already. Pricing I will show you, so you can work also as a student here, which means that the price won't increase. So this is of course also very important. Then the family coverage with the public health insurance, it's included, which is nice. So if there are some students, for example, who are already married and the wife or the husband will join to Germany, then they can co-insure under specific circumstances also these people for free. And that's a huge advantage compared to private health insurance, because in private health insurance, every person needs to be insured individually. So here are additional costs. You do not have to remind all of these, because in our exploration flow, we will ask a few questions exactly to offer you at the end the best product which fits best to your current situation. Doctor's access with public, it's good, but waiting times can be longer. In private, you have fast appointments and you already have access to specialists. And this is quite important. For example, you have a huge back pain, then you can already go to the specialist. You can apply via the Autonova app, and then the specialist will already be connected with you and will also give you an appointment. The language support, as already learned, in general, I would say public health insurance are a bit more German focused. As we already said, TK is completely international, 24/7, also for international students, which means English support line. So this is quite great. And if you ask me for a public health insurance recommendation, I would always go to TK. Private health insurance is already more English-speaking options available, especially also with Autonova. And then very important, students ask me sometimes, oh, how can I switch back to private health from private to public health insurance or vice versa? Because it sounds very complicated. It's not. So if you or students are allowed to switch after the graduation one time again. So if you have a private health insurance and you would like to go then to a public after graduation, not a problem at all. Same for public health insurance. Either you stay in the public health insurance or you can apply for private health insurance. In public, there's only one more thing we have to keep in mind. If you're turning 30, then the insurance premium will change from currently 144 euro up to 257 euro. So it's more than 110 euro more for the same service. Every public health insurance will send then a student a letter saying, hey, congratulations that you're turning 30. Now we think you have more money. So insurance will be more expensive, or you switch to private health insurance. And this can make a lot of sense because, for example, with Autonova, students can then save a lot of money. Then what students assume when talking about private health insurance, it's quite expensive. Health insurance is not accepted by the universities, must be also complicated to use, and insurance is lifelong commitment. I guess two of these four questions or problems we already addressed. So, of course, students can switch after graduation. And we also learned that the health insurance is also accepted by universities. Let's check the other ones. So the truth is a bit different. The insurance is affordable. It's a tailored insurance, as already said. There are the extras like dental, but there's also a global coverage, which means students are allowed to use Autonova worldwide up to 6 months every year, which means if they go back to India, for example, to celebrate Diwali festival, for example, which was just a few weeks ago, to see the family, then they can use the Autonova insurance and they do not need to apply for a travel health insurance, which means that they can save additional money. And this is quite nice. And then, of course, there are faster access to specialists and also to private doctors. The legal acceptance by all German universities is given. So the M10, what I already explained, is under our control. Then it's also quite easy to use because it's app-based. And let's be honest, the young generation is really interested just to work with the phone. So they can talk to doctors. There's a fast reimbursement process and no paperwork at the end. And the freedom to switch to public insurance, I already explained. This is how it looks. The comparison, basically everything is already explained. Two more things, preventive checkups in the public health insurance, as you can see here, it's with age limitations, in private without, because private health insurance are quite interested that the people who are healthy stay healthy. And this is why you can already do some preventive checkups also earlier. And the coverage in public health insurance, it can happen that it will be changed or the coverage will be reduced. In the private health insurance with Autonova, it's also contractually guaranteed. And this is, of course, also something which is quite important. The price, and this is maybe something you will wonder, When talking about the price, the public health insurance, as long as you are below 30, it's between 139 to 144 euro. With Autonova, it's only 119. So students can save between 230 up to 291 euros annually. Let's say we are a bachelor student coming here for 3 years. So we can easily save something between 700 to close to 900 euro. And this is, of course, a lot of money. And then here you can see the change when you're turning 30. Then the public health insurance would be already 257 euro, and Autonova is only 139. So if you should receive the letter, switch maybe to private health insurance, and you can save more than 1,400 euro annually, which is, of course, also a lot of money. Now, just to summarize the key talking points, we have the Study Seeker Premium, which is accepted by all the universities. The reimbursement via the Autonova app is quite easy. Reimbursement means the following. There are also a lot of wrong information about private health insurance. So Autonova works like this. You go to the doctor. You do not have to pay in advance. And this is something very important to understand. You will find other private health insurances on the market here in Germany, which are maybe a bit cheaper, but every time you visit a doctor, you have to pay in advance, 25 euro, for example. So with Autonova, it's a bit different. You go there, the doctor will do the treatment, you will receive an invoice. This invoice, let's say it's 200 euro, must be uploaded into the Autonova app. And then Autonova will transfer you this 200 euro within 5 to 7 business days to your bank account here in Germany. And then you pay the doctor. You are only the middle person to do the payment to the doctor, but you do not need to touch your own money. So this is quite important to understand. And this is for us also very important. And this is the reason why we use Autonova, because they confirm that they will be able to offer exactly the service like this. Then Study Seeker Premium, you can save between 230 up to 1,400 euro each year. Depends on the age. This is what I showed you already. And then the Autonova app is in English and allows you easily to talk to doctors, book appointments, and also review prescriptions. That's basically all from my side. Are there any questions, or Nivea, you would like to continue?
We haven't received any questions though, but if there is anybody who has questions, guys, please feel free to ask. It is coming directly from the experts about what is the kind of money that you are going to spend when you move to Germany, and why we need a block bank account in the first place, and how insurance. And it is so true, Dom, right? Insurance, we are really privileged, I think, in Germany. The kind of, with the insurance coverage. I know people who have moved to the US and so many parts of the world where half of the things are not covered. I think we are very blessed to be in Germany and get this kind of a coverage, which is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And very good point, just what you said. Here, just to summarize, why you will always find the suitable health insurance with us also. So for students, it's like this. You will come to Germany for the first arrival time. You need a travel health insurance. Why? Because you can only activate TK, public health insurance, or private health insurance with your semester start date. And this is basically 1st of September, 1st of October, or if you come here for the summer semester, 1st of March, 1st of April. Before that, and this is basically what students always does, that they arrive a bit earlier just to organize themselves here in Germany. For that time, you need the Provisit Visum. This is the travel health insurance, which is also mandatory to have to receive your visa. So with us, we can guarantee that there won't be any insurance gap for you. And this is quite important because, as we already learned on the very first slide, insurance in Germany is mandatory. So this is just to show you. And here you can then see what you need if you are turning 30. Then you can either apply for Autonova or the Provisit Student, which is for students who are above 38. but you will also get the pro-visit visum for your arrival date. So this is quite important. And yeah, if you should be guest scientist, we also have the right product for you. Or if you come here as a language student, job seeker, Studienkolleg, opportunity card holder, or whatever, then we work with Educare. Educare is also a travel health insurance offered by Dr. Walter. So everyone here will find the right insurance to the right time. Nivea, back to you.
Thank you, Dominic, for taking the time out. And it's always such a pleasure co-hosting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Yeah. So, Priya, I'll just share my screen right now,
Please.
and I'll just give a little brief outline about what exactly blocked accounts are,
Please.
and why your students ask certain questions, as in why they should park such a big amount while going
So
to
far
Germany.
away, without a visa in hand.
Yeah.
Are you able to share?
Yes, I am. Just give me a second. Can you see my screen?
It is saying you have. Yes, we can now.
Yeah.
Yes. Go for it.
Okay. So, yes. So, what exactly is a blocked account? All right. Now, for any students, I'm pretty sure a lot of students have this question, because when you're going to a lot of countries, the concept of blocked account doesn't really exist, besides for the fact that if you're exploring Australia as an option, because there, they do check your funds. Now, blocked account is a visa requisite. And this is a visa requisite that has come, that the government asks for. So it's not, us randomly going out there and putting out a concept saying that, you have to park your money. So there is no option for you. Whether you're a student going there to study, whether you're a person going there to work, if you're a language student, if you're going there for a semester exchange, you are supposed to get a blocked account. Hence, I've used the name visa requisite. All right. Now, what is the concept of it? In simple terminology, for us Indians to understand, it's like a fixed deposit where you park your own money there before you go to Germany. It is on the basis of you parking your money there, you get a document. It is this document that you have to submit to the embassy while filing for your visa appointment, on the basis of which you will get your visa. All right. So the thing about Germany is that you need your offer letter in hand. And that's great. But if you don't have a blocked account and if you haven't got your 06 document, you will get a visa rejection. So that is the significance and that is the importance of the blocked account. All right. Why did the government do it? The government did it because initially what was happening is that there was an influx of students coming into Germany in the name of working. But, unfortunately, we had a lot of students who came to Germany as a pathway to study, but never really studied and moved out of the country. Just to ensure that there was legitimacy, hence the concept of blocked account was introduced. All right. Now, coming back to what I had said a little earlier, I use the term it's like a fixed deposit. Now, a lot of Indians get confused and they're like, oh, so if I park my money in the blocked account, am I going to get any interest? No, it's nothing like this. A blocked account is just a concept where you fix your money. And once you come to Germany, that blocked account gets activated. And your own money is sent back to you every month for 1 year in the form of 992 euros. All right. So if students are worried that, oh, am I going to lose out on the money? No, that money is for you. It is for your survival. Second pointer, that 12,000 euros. Why I say 12,000 euros? It's 12,056 euros, something like that. All right. That entire money is for you. All right. You do not have to pay any money after this, because we've done the calculation in a very meticulous manner, because we understand that, once students go in there, they shouldn't really be going through the hassle of, paying more money. So any student taking Expatrio will never go through the hassle of having to pay any money for a health insurance, nothing. All the money is automatically deducted from here. So you need not worry about anything. All right. Now I'll just go into the nitty-gritties of, our blocked account. Okay. So as I already mentioned, each month you'll be getting a payout of 992 euros from your blocked account to your German bank account. Okay. When they say German bank account, we refer to it as the current account. So if you open the Expatrio website, you'll always see that, we give something as the free current account. All right, that free current account is actually a local German bank account. Our banking partner is Aeon Bank. Now it's been rebranded to UniCredit, so it's the same thing. Please do not worry. All right, you get a physical, a digital debit card which you can use anywhere to do your transactions. But if you go onto the Expatrio app and if you say that, you know what, I want a physical card out of it, you can order for that as well. And the good thing is that you can use it for 3 ATM transactions in or anywhere around in Germany or anywhere around Europe thrice a month. All right. And usually you will not really require to withdraw money so many times because I think, everything is digitalized right now. So I think we Indians, we prefer, paying digitally given the fact that we have so much of Paytm and PhonePe going on here. So I think that would be the preferred mode of payments for us. Now coming to the costing of how much exactly is a student supposed to be keeping ready if they're going to go to Germany. All right. 11,904 euros is the amount that the government asks for. Okay. That the value cannot drop below 11,904 euros. All right. If it drops below that, you will get a visa rejection. And the embassy will notify you. They will send you email saying that, you have to ensure that this amount is there. So how Expatrio has structured it is that we charge 11,904 euros, which is the blocked account requirement from the government. Our setup fees is 89 euros. All right. So that's a one-time payment that you do. Besides this, we charge 100 euros buffer amount. All right. That 100 euros buffer amount, what it does is that it is just to ensure that when there are international remittances being done, any settlements that have to be made are made from that 100 euros. All right. And the remaining is usually sent back to the student of whatever remains. Okay. Another thing that is charged is 60 euros, which is basically the breakup is 5 euros per month, but that is banking charges. So technically, when you add up the 11,904 euros, the 89 euros, the 60 euros, and the 100 euros, it comes up to a total of 12,000 some euros. All right. Which is the only amount that you have to pay. All right. From that money, your insurances are taken care of, everything is taken care of. So the process is that it goes from the blocked account, a student reaches Germany, they come out of the airport, you get a SIM card for yourself, you download the Expatrio app, you put your immigration details in, you put your visa documents in, you need to give us an address proof to activate it. All right. And then somebody from our Expatrio team will connect with you and they do a very simple KYC process. So within 1 to 2 days, your account should be activated and you will get the payouts in a similar fashion that within those 1-2 days. All right. And so what happens is that the money goes from your blocked account to your current account. Your current account, which is the local German bank account, is from where all the payments are facilitated. All right. Now a very important question. Yes, as you can see, it is accepted by German authorities worldwide. It is simple, fast, and secure. Reason being because of our Expatrio app. Now, the Expatrio app is very, very simple to use. You download the app. On this one app, you can check your insurances, you can check your current account balance, your blocked account balance. So everything is in one place. It's very, very concise. So you need not jump from one place to another. So that's the best part of the app. Second is that it's use the official blocked account document. Very important. Okay. Now the process is that, to get a blocked account done, it takes just 5 minutes because the only document that you're going to be uploading is your passport. All right. And you have to put in the right documents and everything. But once you do your application, you will get a 05 document. Okay, that 05 document is actually the instruction payment sheet, which will tell you where you have to do the payment, how you have to do the payment, all those things. All right, once the money is transferred, okay, you will get one document called the 06 document. This is the most important document which the embassy asks for. Now, a lot of students will think that this document is going to be given to you immediately. No, it is not going to be given to you immediately. Suppose if you've done the payment today, you will have to wait at least 3 to 5 days for that document to appear. So if you have, if you're planning to, go for your visa appointment next week, I suggest, do it 2 weeks prior to, whenever you're planning to go for the visa appointment. So you get the 06 and everything ready. So if at all there are any problems, you can sit with us and we can work it out. So you have a very smooth process of filing for your application. Okay. Sometimes what happens is that you apply for, your visa appointment, you've given all your documents, but you get a visa appointment after many, many months. Okay. So the embassy will write back to you saying that, the 06 has expired. We need a new one. So please do not panic in those cases. In those cases, you reach out to service@expatrio.com and you just tell us that give us an updated 06 and we will provide it to you. Okay. All our documents are available on the portal ready for download. All right. So the first few documents that you'll get is actually your insurance document. So you can always keep that with you. As a student, Expatrio has simplified it so much for you all that you guys just have to download documents. And if at all there is an issue and you feel that, I haven't received this and that document, get in touch with us and we will help you out. Okay. It's mentioned here that there is a refund used during a visa rejection. Now, this is a very, very important topic. Now, talking about refunds, you will not just get your money back when there's a visa rejection. There are a few cases that I'd like to explore. One is definitely a visa rejection, where you get back all your money. The second instance is when, say, a student applies for a university in Germany, and God forbid this doesn't happen to anybody, but say there's, a family mishap, or the student gets an offer maybe in the UK or Australia, and they decide that, what, Germany is not going to work for me and I don't want to go ahead. And you haven't even filed for your visa application, but you've done your blocked account. There also, you can get your refund. The third instance is when the student has decided to go to Germany, they spend a few months there, maybe a year, maybe a few months, and then they decide that, no, I'm done with Germany and I want to come back. Then too, you can apply for a refund. Now, the process is very simple. The first step is that you write to service@expatrio and the email should go from the student's account. You say that, hi, I would like to go ahead for my refund for whatever reasons. Somebody from our team will get in touch with you. There are a few core documents that we ask for. One is the Strafvergabe, which is a very important document. It's a document which has to be ratified, signatured by the government. All right. So usually if it's a visa rejection, then the visa rejection letter is good enough to be considered as that document. The second instance is that if there's a case of visa withdrawal, then you have to write to the embassy and you will have to tell that, you'll have to give a written statement. We will also give you a template of this Strafvergabe. And, you send it to the embassy, they will sign it, and that could also be considered as that. Emails from the embassy are also considered as a valid document. Okay. And the third instance is when, let's assume that you've started your studies and then you decide that Germany is not working. Then you have to go ahead and do something called the D-City registration. Okay, because there is a process called the Anmeldung, which is very, very important, which is something that you will have to do as soon as you reach Germany. Okay, so when you decide to come back, one, you need a letter from the university saying that, okay, fine, the student doesn't want to study here anymore, and the registration letter. These two documents will also work. Okay. Then the next set of important documents is your bank documents. Okay. So when you go for a refund, the app will ask you for two options. It'll say that, do you want to send it back to the original sender's account, or do you want to send it back to your own account? Okay. Now, what does this mean? Sometimes your parents will be sending you money. So if you want the money to go back to the direct source account, you have to, put in their account statements. You have to ensure that you're putting in their TT copies. Now, how exactly that works is that they want to check the entire flow from where the payments are coming. So for instance, say your mom has sent the money from Indusland Bank, and then there's a remittance company in between, which is Ebix Cash. Okay, and then the third player is Aeon Bank. So what happens is that Expatrio will want to check, the transfer of the money from Indusland to Ebix Cash. So you will have to give an RTGS proof along with your bank account statements. And then after this, you'll have to show us the TT copy that shows the transfer between Ebix Cash and Aeon Bank. Okay, so we need all these three set of documents. And for instance, say your money has gone from your mother and father's account. This means we'll need 6 set of documents. All right. But a simpler way to do it is that sometimes parents are like, what, no, it's okay, fine, just send it back to my son's account. That is also an option. So the student has an option to take back the money into an account of their own, even if they haven't sent the money. That can also be done. That's a very simple case. In that case, what you do is that you just provide your account statement, your account details, okay, where the account number is shown, and your name should match the passport, and that should be good enough. All right. So the process is that it takes 12 days to do the document verification, and then within 45 days, you should be getting your money. All right. So this is pretty much what exactly the blocked account does. So of course, we get public-private health insurance. We also get travel insurance. I think Dom has probably already repeated it, but how travel insurance works is that, for instance, if your studies are starting, say, on the 1st of December, and if you're traveling today to Germany, this means from today, which is, what is the date today? 22nd November? This means from the 22nd November till the last month of, till the 30th of November, you're actually considered a traveler in Germany. Therefore, the travel insurance is valid. And as soon as you set foot in college, okay, that's when your, health insurance gets activated. All right. So this is pretty much what exactly Expatrio has to offer. And for students applying, I always recommend, please go ahead and choose the Expatrio value package, because you'll get all your health insurance, everything in one place. Okay, because if you do it separately, then it's a tedious task. Expatrio value package is the better option for you. Everything is concise. So, and yes, we also offer loans. Our partner is ICICI Bank, so you can get in touch with them as well. This is pretty much what I have to offer in terms of, the blocked account. So, Priya, do we have any questions here?
I do see something in the chat. Nivia, will any amount be deducted if the account is closed before 1 year?
The 89 euros is not given back. That is the service fee.
Yeah.
But otherwise, all the other remaining amount, because I'm pretty sure if you're there in Germany, you definitely use the money, right? Because you'll be there. So, for instance, if you've been there for 3 months, you've used that money. So the remaining, 7-8 months that you're here, all that money will be given back to you.
Will be given back.
Yeah.
I don't see any further questions. So this was a very good informative session. And I think the way Expatrio has evolved this whole block bank normal process, there are so many other providers, but I think you guys come with that wow factor of the whole thing. You give everything as a one-stop shop. Now you have loans. It's amazing. So you give blocked bank account, you give insurance, you give incoming insurance, as she has been saying that there are two types of insurances. You cannot come into Germany without being fully insured, guys. It's mandatory and it's good for you, right? So incoming insurance, and after you have landed here, then there is another insurance. And then Expatrio went a few steps ahead and started giving a free local bank account, which is huge, guys. Till you have found an apartment, which is one big Herculean task. We are going to talk about it in the next session. Till you don't find an apartment in Germany, you cannot get the Anmeldung that she was talking about, which is a city registration. And if you don't have a city registration, you cannot open a local bank account. So Expatrio has further simplified the whole process for you. So you'll walk in with an existing bank account for you, which is a breeze. And I think you guys unblock the account as soon as the student moves into Germany as well, right? So this is amazing. I remember my classmates who had the blocked bank account stuck with the Kotak Bank for 6 months after their move. So it was huge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Priya, just to add to the Anmeldung. So guys, with Expatrio, what happens is that yes, you get your current account while you're sitting in India, and the only thing that you have to do is activate it. Now there are a few things that you have to keep in mind. One is that when you reach Germany, you get 6 months in hand to actually do your Anmeldung. So please make sure that you're doing it, because this doesn't mean that you're exempted from it. You have to get it done, because Expatrio will ask you for your Anmeldung. It's just that we are giving you time. All right. So until then, your TK certificate, if you have a TK insurance, that will work. Or if you have any rental proof agreement, that will also work. Okay. So just ensure that when you go there, you have to do it. It's just that we give you we give you a lease to, just ensure that you're getting everything on track. All right. Just that. Yeah.
But while you are being lenient and giving them a 6 months, the German government will not give you more than 14 days to settle down, guys.
Absolutely,
So you
absolutely. So
need
they
to
usually have
have
to do it in the same,
yes.
1 week or 2 weeks. Yeah.
So you need to have an accommodation, and we will help you with all of that. Okay, so we have a team of people who can help you with that. So it's really good. We have been able to cover this important part of the move for the student, whether they are in home country or they have moved to Germany. This plays a very important role, guys. Having a blocked bank account, being fully insured, and also figuring out your on ground support services like having a local bank account open for you. So this is really good. Thank you so much, Nivya, for your time today, and this
Thank you
was
so
really
much, Priya, for
informative.
having us over. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you to
guys. Bye.
Expatrio.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Very nice. We see that some of you are still here. That is very good. The ones who are going to be there till the end of the session are going to enjoy probably an internship. You get to enjoy an internship. For those of you who are anybody who is a master student and attending the event here with us today, I'm going to quickly cover a small part of landing in Germany as a PhD candidate. So, what happens when you move to Germany or Europe? Not just as a student, as a bachelor's or a master's student, but because you have already some research bent of mind and you wish to move to Germany. Can you do a PhD, and how does that whole process go, right? So I'm going to cover this part quickly. Now, PhD, when you move to Germany as a PhD candidate, to begin with, why should you look at Germany as a destination for doing your PhD, or Germany or the European Union, right? So first is that there is world class education. The education in this side of the world is very different from the education that we are exposed to in India. If you are part of an international curriculum like an international baccalaureate or the A levels or the IGCSEs, so you know what I'm talking about. But if you're somebody who is with the local board like a CBSE board or a state board, you wouldn't know what world class education, when you come to this side of the world is. It's really different. It's very research focused, and also when you move to Germany as as a PhD candidate, there are a lot of financial benefits in all of this, right? So you don't move in here as a student, so your visa is different, your living the status with which you walk into this country is totally different, and we are going to touch upon it quickly a lot more. But yes, when you move in as a student, as a PhD candidate, then you are not a student here in the country. You work, you move on a work visa. Now, if your salary, like we spoke about the blue card, if your salary as a PhD candidate is, let's say, 43,800 euros and above, which is a very strong possibility, then you will be walking in here with a EU blue card, guys. So you will be coming in with a blue card into Germany to pursue PhD. Now, that is one part. And then there is a huge career advancement. Now, what happens if I do a PhD in Germany? One is I complete my PhD over a period of between 2 to 5 years. So basically, for the first 2 years, 100%, I'm going to be paid for doing the research in the country, right? And then another important thing is that when I'm doing this kind of research, I will be getting paid anything between 1800 euros to around 4000 euros per month, which is 1.8 lakhs to 4 lakh rupees per month, as a research professor, as a research candidate. And I could be working with a university professor to do this job, right? So now, what happens if I have completed my PhD? After I complete a PhD, I could continue going into research because research is really big in the EU. There's a lot of money spent in research, and they use a lot of research to grow their industries. So it is not rampantly that something is growing. There's a lot of research which goes into big industries, and but if you say that no, I don't want to work in the corporate field and I want to probably go into, like, let's say, become a teacher at a university, after having completed a PhD, you can become a professor of a university and walk away with 80,000 euro salary per year as a basic salary, guys. So that is a huge jump, right? So you work, you research, you study for few years after your masters, right? And then just by doing a right kind of a research, you are going to get 80 lakh rupees per year as a salary, which is really huge. It's very comfortable. I also want to talk about when you move in as a PhD candidate into this side of the world, you are going to be bringing a family of you. You can bring your spouse, you can bring two kids along with on that visa. So all of you can move in together. If you become a research associate, right, you become a research candidate, your visa is also processed very very fast. So you will be in Germany. Let's say today you got a job offer, a PhD offer from any of these companies or research institutes that you apply to, or universities that we will apply for you. So you can move to Germany in as little as 1.5 to 2 months time. You could be here earning a solid salary. And a researcher's visa is actually a very very high category of visa. So if you are a diplomat, let's say you are an ambassador of a country, so you are a diplomat, right? You hold a light blue color passport. But if you walk in as a researcher, you are the second after a diplomat, who comes in. So a researcher is treated like god in all of these countries. You will get paid, you can walk in with your family, and you will have all the expert facilities. And only a researcher in the country can apply for a PR or citizenship within 3 years time. So only a researcher gets that. So right, you are as good as god if you come as a researcher. Now, some of the types of PhD programs, there are structured PhD programs, and then there are individual doctoral researches as well. And there is also a common area where there is mentorship and funding available. We take care of all the types of different PhDs which are being offered here. We have a team of experts who are working with us. We are particularly good in STEM fields and especially physics. Anybody wants to get into fluid mechanics or quantum mechanics or quantum physics, these are kind of topics that we can cover and we can help you with. We have access to a lot of researchers in the whole space. And I'll just quickly go. Yes, what is the eligibility criteria? You should have completed a master's program, that's for sure. And then you should have some kind of a research proposal. Even if you don't have the research proposal, but you have an inkling or a topic that you want to do research on, it cannot be something that you just think of. A researcher, somebody with a research mindset would be already doing research or has already published some work or wants to get into this space in deeper academics. So somebody with that bent of mind is an ideal fit for PhD. Let's say if I had 17 years of working experience before moving to Germany, and after my big corporate job, I decide I want to now do a PhD. Maybe that is possible in countries like India, but in Germany, it is not possible. You should have been continuously in the academic field to get to this space, So now, oftentimes people also ask, if I do a PhD in Germany, do I need to do it in German? No, you don't have to do it in German. You are required to do it in pure English, and we can do that for you. We have access to English PhDs which are possible in this side of the world. And of course, if somebody wants to learn German, be our guest. You are most welcome. Please do it. And what we also do is, we look at your CV, we look at your research proposal or the topic that you have in mind, and we try to then do a supervisor match for you. We have been able to get students within 6 months' time for successful PhD programs into Germany. We have few people who have moved to Italy, to Milan. We have people who are being now interviewed in France as we speak. So, this happens, but this whole journey from the time you apply till the time you come to Germany could be a maximum of 6 months' time. All right. So this is our step by step application process. We will help you define your research topic. We are going to help you prepare your documents, because there are certain documents, however much you beautify your CV or your statement of purpose, it is not going to be something like a European employer or a European research institute would look at. So we know that way, and we know our experts know exactly what kind of a CV to prepare. So we help you with that. We help you find supervisors. We have been able to give almost 150 odd supervisors and research institutes to our existing candidates. And sometimes because you don't know where to apply, right? So we have a whole list of things available. We help them to apply and get accepted, and we also guide them all along from home country until they land here, in Germany, to relocate and start their whole new life, right, as a worker. These are some of the documents. Many times people say that we want help with just the documents, we don't want you to apply for us for a PhD. We can also do this as a piecemeal work. It is, it'll cost you much cheaper if you say that you want to apply for PhDs on your own. But if you say that you want us to help you with the PhD, please connect with us after the session is over today, and maybe connect with us sometime next week. We'll be happy to look at your, individual CVs. If you're interested, we can help you with that. So why should you look at working with my company, with our company Workpunkt? So I'm based in Germany, and we have access to a lot of universities. We have access, a large network of people that we are already working with. Like you just connected with Expatrio, there are many such companies that we are working with. We know exactly what is it that Germany is looking at. But you must remember, when you come for a PhD, it is a very strong possibility. You can be not just in Germany, you could be anywhere in the EU, because a lot of these researches are EU level researches. These are not German level researches, because, for example, green technology, like we spoke about, right? Green technology, this is a fast emerging industry. If anybody wants to do research in this, they will be doing probably projects, taking up projects which are maybe EU level and not just Germany level, right? So you could get interviewed in any other part within the EU region, but it's going to be great, is what I can say. We also have a huge network of universities. Having personally moved in here as a student and having worked in top universities in Germany for last 5 6 years, and now having started a company, I can only tell you, we have a great network. We know these people. If there is a question that you have and we are not able to answer it to you, give it to you now, we will be able to get back to you with the right answer, because I'm based in Germany, and we will be able to. And we have a whole team of experts who are sitting in India and who can do that entire, process for you, and identify your documents and check your documents. And I want to talk about ethical guidance. This is one of the main reasons why I started the company. I just know for the last 6 years that I worked with so many universities, and I had to work with many agents on behalf of the university. When I was working with these agents in the market, I did see a lot of lies which are, told to the student. Half of the times they tell that if you have to go to a public university, you have to only study in German. So they start selling their German programs and say that, why don't you go and learn German, because you can get to study for free, and then they charge you for that German program, right? So I want to say this, there are a lot of myths. A lot of people are giving wrong information. Guys, please don't just blindly go and trust people who are giving you some information. Don't trust me also, for that matter. If you think I'm giving you some information which needs to be re-verified, please go back, do your research, and re-verify every kind of an information we are giving you. Because our final goal, our final intention is to, we are not in some great hurry to bring you here, but we are really concerned, and we really want to make sure that you are given the right kind of a guidance all the way from home country until you come here. So this guidance, one is ethically guiding you. I also want to say, for every student who joins us, every student we, get them enrolled into the universities and we bring them into Germany. Through my company, we are planting trees, and we plant 50 trees every month. And while it seems like only 50 trees, but imagine, would you ever go and plant trees? So I wouldn't be able to do that. So I decided to do it consciously. We dedicate 5 trees for every student who joins us and through us comes here, because we want you to know that we want to invest in your growth, and that is what we do through Workpunkt. So right, so we are not only planting trees, but we are also using a lot of artificial intelligence, and we feel it is our responsibility towards the planet to be able to do whatever best possible. We have so far been able to plant more than 650 trees, and we are very proud about it, right? So it's a good thing that we have been able to start. After this webinar, we can have a free assessment call for you and exactly understand what is it that you want to do. As Workpunkt, we do a lot of things. If you are students who are looking for international internships, we can also do that. But currently it is very restricted to certain sectors like the hospitality. But we will be able to help you look at your documents and help you with your career pathing, whether you should be doing a bachelor's program or a master's program, or even land here on a fully paid PhD program. We will be able to do that. we will do your compatibility check and see how is it that we can help you make that move. So there are few questions that people many times ask, that if I do a PhD, what is the level of German language I require? You don't need any German at the time of application. There could be some universities who might ask you for maybe 1 or 2 levels of the German language, and that is something you can acquire in 3 to 4 months time while you're preparing. So if you start your application process with us now, that is something you can decide at the time of being selected by these universities or PhD research institutes. Then we can have a look at it and see that how you want to go about it. But language is not mandatory, guys. It's absolutely not mandatory. Many times students also confuse a PhD, a fully paid PhD option in Germany, to a student route. It is not a student route at all. It is purely a PhD. And you are allowed. So people ask, can I work when I'm doing a PhD? That is a very many times I hear this question, can I work when I am pursuing my PhD? So PhD is work, guys. Okay, so there are times that you could be giving 20 hours of your weekly time to a university along with your professor who you will be working with on your PhD. But many times it is also possible that you are doing no teaching at all, and you are only spending your 8 hours every day doing pure research in labs, and in these research institutes or in universities. So you might not be doing any extra work but just doing hardcore research, right? So, and that is paid for, guys. Generally, for everybody to know, if you come as a student, how many days, how many hours can you work? Usually a student visa typically allows you, actually, I'm sorry for this is not 120 full days, but it's 140 full days and 280 half days of working. So when I say 140 full days of working, that means you can work for 8 hours every day for 140 days between a January to December calendar year. Now if you say December is around the corner and you just entered the country, from now until the end of December, you can use those hours if you have to, if you don't have classes clashing. But from come Jan, like when January comes, you will have this entire number of hours, which is approximately 960 hours per year, will get topped up again on the 1st of January. So as a student, if you're a student, you will be studying for 20 hours a week minimum, and you will be allowed to work 20 hours a week, and that's like the maximum. Sometimes a student doesn't get a well-paying job and they are not able to survive, so the government does allow you to take up another 10 hours of extra working hours, where you can earn another 575 euros per month extra in the name of, this is called a mini job. So it is permitted. So you can extend your working hours from 20 to 30 in some days of the week, some days of the year. That's permitted. Now if you are coming as a PhD, people do ask that, can I bring my family? So answer is yes, 100% you can bring a family of 4 people, people who are dependent on you. It could be your spouse, it could be your children. You can come here on a PhD, 100%. Okay, so I think, yeah, we are almost there. Another 30 minutes to go. Guys, what I want to definitely talk about today is, along with Dr. Agnieszka, we are starting a 6-week program, which is going to be a deep dive global mastery journey, where we are going to help you not only mentally prepare for an international career. If you are somebody who's aspiring to move internationally and you are interested, you want to explore this, you are most welcome to join this program. This is a program which will start in January of next year, and we will confirm the dates and everything to you. However, we are having an intro session which is going to be next week on Saturday. Please, you're most welcome to join us for the program. Come and join us for the intro session. It is going to be a paid event, but if you are interested to come for the intro session and understand what is it that we are going to do, so basically through Dr. Agnieszka's Lion method, where she is already talking to so many international students, we are going to be creating a 6-week power-packed session, where we will help you not just prepare for the future of work. Through my rebooted program, I have a program where I help students get digitally adept and understand how they can do an AI how they can adopt careers which are going to be heavy on AI, and how they can land jobs when there is so much of fear around the world that we are going to lose jobs and AI is coming away and taking away people's jobs. So we will be able to help you not only overcome that fear, but make you solid, make you stronger in this entire space, and help you rule this job market with a lot of confidence and with a lot of ease. Okay, the whole 6 week journey is really focused on a lot of global innovation hubs. We will be working with different companies, and we are building this entire 6 week journey for you. So it's going to be very immersive, where you will learn the ethical AI, how you can use AI ethically. This will be done by Dr. Agnieszka, who was there with us a few minutes back. And then I will be also covering the rebooted career mastermind, where we are going to help you understand how to get job and get jobs, and how to get ready for the future of work, because future of work, guys, is fast disrupting. It is not going to be the same job. And if you think, let's say I help you with getting a bachelor's program or a master's program in Germany or any other part of the world, for that matter, even if you stay in India and do your final studies there, there is no guarantee today that you're going to land a job after that study is over. So, and I want to encourage people to think out of the box, because this is what we are going to do through this 6 week immersive program. We are going to teach you how to use AI. That will be my part of the story, where we are going to tell you how to create landing pages, how to build websites, how to start companies, how to become an entrepreneur, how to think out of the box, and how to monetize your skills. This is also applicable for anybody who is looking to be an entrepreneur and still wondering how to launch a company, how to launch a program. We can help you with all of those things as well, right? So I want to just say that we too will be doing this entire thing. We want to get, and we are already working with international students. Dr. Agnieszka is working separately, I'm working separately, but we have decided to come together and create this power pack session. It's not going to be very expensive, but it's going to be a power pack session which is going to grill you, get you up to pace to what is expected of you in the coming days, in the coming future of work. And I want to say this, guys, very early this year when I started my journey with the AI and everything. It was starting of this year when I received an email from some marketing email from one company, where they said 2025 is going to be the last normal human year. And this is so true. And I think it developed a lot of FOMO in me, because I just knew that everything in this space is going to be changing. I need to do something really out of the box to be able to set up my company, let's say, use AI and learn AI to begin with. So as a company, like I also announced at the beginning, we are going a lot into the artificial intelligence space, and we will be creating a lot of things for you to make your entire journey very, very comfortable, whether you move in here as a student or as a skilled worker or as a PhD graduate. We will be able to help you with this. But yes, we are starting this extra program, which is going to be launched in January next year. But we are having an introduction session sometime next week on Saturday, 9:30 in the morning on Saturday and this is 9:30 morning Berlin time, which is approximately, I think, 2 o'clock your time. So anybody who is interested can simply scan the QR codes. The first QR code is for anybody who is in India. It's 1,000 rupees that we are charging for the session itself, which is because the main session, of course, is going to be a lot more, right? So, but it is still not so much more. 6 weeks of deep dive, where all the 6 weeks I would give real live experience, live journey as to how you can use AI in your current day and time, and how you can use AI to apply for job markets and get ready. What are the kind of skills which are going to be the future of work, right? And then also, Dr. Agnieszka is going to talk about the ethics of AI, and how this is going to be a skill, a mandatory skill in the coming days, because truly 2025 is going to be the last normal human year, guys. Next year onwards, the whole landscape of work is changing very, very fast. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you are a student, either ways, you need to think out of the box. It's not going to be an easy ride. It's just going to get more and more difficult in the beginning for you to understand that, what needs to be done. You need to really figure that part out. So if anybody is interested, you guys can scan the QR code. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I'm just going to see. Okay, so just the last part of the session. What happens after you have moved into Germany as a student or a PhD graduate, or you decide that, okay, I want to go and do my masters, and I want to first explore the market as a student, which I seriously strongly encourage that you should do. You should look at moving to Germany for higher education, because it's going to give you so much of integration when you move in here and learn the entire space. You will get to know people, you will get to know the food habits, you will get to know what brand of rice to buy, for example, right? So you will know. So but few things, and this is a very very important part of my training series also, which we do for many other students and counselors who come to Germany or who send students to Germany. A very, very important part of being in Germany, if you are thinking about Germany, is about being punctual, right? So Germans really appreciate it. And I want to say they appreciate it. That's one part. But let's say you had a meeting, and you had a meeting scheduled at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you did not show up for the meeting for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's okay. Like, it's the worst case scenario, but you can expect that meeting to never happen if you have arrived late for the meeting. They will never strike the business deal with you if you were late for that meeting. And Germans like punctuality, they respect it because they are respectful of their time, and that is what is expected of us, right? Being on time is being considerate of other beings' time. So very important. Germans are also very direct people. So many times, like I said, when I went to buy grocery, and that lady said, I said, can we speak in English? So she said nine. She was very rude. So it sounded rude because I was just 2 days into the country. But when you start living here, you will realize that they don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't waste time, they will not waste your time, and you don't have to explain yourself as well. When they say a yes or they say a no, they really mean it. They are not saying no and in their mind they are saying something else. Like a lot of us from our side of the world, we are so many times very unsure of what we want to say, and we don't give the right information. But Germans are known for their straightforwardness, but they are not particularly rude as many people think. So there is also formal address. So if you talk to a German for the first time, you do talk to them like somebody senior. So you will say Mr. for men, and like Miss, or it's actually, you will see Mrs. It's MRS written in every every university application form, because it is a direct connotation from the word Frau, which is used in German. So if somebody calls me, they are going to say Frau Rau as a first way of address. But after the first meeting, if you switch immediately to do is a form of totally informal discussion, as we would say tum or tu in Hindi, right? So if you move to that from the second meeting onwards, it is perfectly acceptable and perfectly okay. So there are also very very old people in Germany, because I said it's a huge aging population. They like to be called with du, which is the tum, and not up, right? So we don't, there is no need for that. They don't like it. So it's only the first few times you have to be formal. Germany is also very famous for recycling, and they are extremely environmentally conscious. Now, within our households, we have garbage, and we have three different types of garbage within the household. Okay, so four different types of garbage. So batteries go differently, glass is thrown differently, wet garbage is thrown differently. It's all sorted inside the houses, guys. So there are many times people don't follow it, and Germans who are coming and cleaning the garbage cans, they don't like it if you are not following that, because when this sorting happens at home, you can imagine that's why the country is so clean, right? That's the least we can do, is keep it clean. So your wet garbage is different, your paper garbage is different. So this is a kind of awareness. If you go to countries like Switzerland, they have 6 types of garbage, right? So they do that sorting from home, and this is a social etiquette. If you're living in a community, let's say I'm living in a community where I have people living above my house, if we are using a common big garbage area, for example, and they see me throw the paper in the wet garbage or wet garbage in the paper, they don't like it. They are very, very strict about it. They can even complain about you. So that's a possibility. You might be paying fine for doing it wrongly. I'm telling you, because if you think of coming to Germany, these are little things, tricks of the trade when you move, right? So it's important. Also, academically, this entire learning approach is very, very self-directed. Many times Indian students, when they come into the classes, they think that teacher didn't teach at all. There was a very small discussion and the teacher went back, typing something on the laptop, and you are expected to learn it all, because this side of the world, education is not a telling approach. They are not trying to tell you what to do. They are only trying to trigger a critical thinking process in your mind so that you take that knowledge in your own way, right? So, and this is so right? So if somebody is teaching you something, it's not necessary the entire class to understand it exactly in that pattern, which is the way Indian or education system in eastern side of the world is. It's a very telling approach, but this is not like this in Germany. So this is something you need to be you need to be aware of. So Selbstständigkeit, which is basically being independent. Selbstständigkeit is actually also somebody who sets up a company. That is also, you can give it that meaning. So, but Selbstständigkeit, when you are independent, you're not dependent on people. You manage your own stuff. They like it. If you are able to get to that point, they like it, that you're not depending on people. In the education system completely, they encourage a lot of critical thinking skills, which is really, really important. And the professor student relationship is not like I'm the professor and I need to talk to you. People call the professor by first name. I also teach at a university. I have students call me by my first name because that's how it is. It's a very friendly environment. It is not to show yourself as a professor, or it's not about the student being small or large or big, right? So it's simply about having an easy ecosystem for the people to learn. Now, cultural integration, these are few strategies, very, very important, very powerful, something I have personally used so many years. And language, if you learn the language, German language, learning the German language can empower you so much more in this country. By learning the language, you are going to get more salaries. Simply by learning the language, you are going to feel at home. When you walk into a store, like that lady said, nine to me, imagine if you walk into any kind of a store and you really want help, you are alone, you want to buy some groceries, you simply don't know what is what, how much it costs, how to buy, which side to go, all of that. If you know the language, you will be so much more comfortable, you will be able to speak to people. I want to also say cities like Berlin, that's where I'm based. Cities like Berlin, they are very, very multi diverse in the immersion that you are going to get. There are at any point of time 85 to 95 nationalities of people who are living in this country. If in the city, if you go to universities like big public universities, you could be easily working or studying with 65 plus nationalities within the classroom. The students that I am teaching in my class right now, I have around 25 students in the class. There's not a single student who is like a repeat, right? So they are all from different nationalities. Somebody is from Latvia, somebody is from Germany, somebody is from another part of the world. It's a different kind of a learning, guys. For anybody looking to grow in their corporate career, sometimes just you know uh, working along with or learning with different types of cultural people, you will get to know how every culture behaves. In fact, you will be able to listen to what they are saying, and you will know that, okay, this guy seems to have an Italian accent and this guy is French. And this is so crucial if you are looking to grow in a corporate career. So because you will be dealing with so many people in a corporate space, but when you come to countries like Germany, you are in the middle of the whole world, right? So every part of the world is like 8 to 9 hours away, so we are midway in the whole on the map, right? So um, also, another way of culturally integrating is joining university clubs. There are not only university clubs, like I said, get your visiting cards printed, go and attend. There are applications on your phone like Eventbrite. That kind of an application is also something you can look at. Uh, to know what are the kind of events which are happening in the market. Maybe you can go, there could be a corporate event happening where they are simply talking about what they have as a product. Maybe it is not related to you, but simply going there, you might bump into a CEO and understand what is it that they are looking at for their internships. Maybe you can get an internship like that. And I want to say this, in 1 month of me coming here, I think because of my previous sales and marketing experience, I did get my visiting cards made, and that was the biggest thing I did. And in my first fair that I attended, it was a large big fair. It's called ITB Berlin. And in that fair, within 3 hours of being in that fair, I got 2 jobs, guys. So that was a big thing for me because I had just moved to Germany. Smallest of jobs were saying no because I didn't know the language and I was not able to understand how do I get the job. So having some kind of a community engagement, going and talking to people. And I want to say this especially for Indian students, one big mistake that we do, or Pakistani students for that matter, one big mistake that we do, we come here and we only interact with people from our community. Don't do that, guys. You can be at home by speaking the German language, but please go and connect with more people. Germans don't like that when you are only in groups and you are not interacting with them. They don't like it. Whereas if you go and talk to them, they would love you. There is no problem, right? So you should try to integrate and connect with people, talk to more people, and not just stick to your own community, which happens a lot with students coming from India and Pakistan. And also important to understand is the German cultural calendar. There are days of the year which are really, really important, and you need to understand. Let's say a Christmas is one of their biggest fests, right? Biggest festivals. There are so many other holidays which are really important for them. So we need to be cognizant. We need to be understanding of that. So maybe if you are in a part-time job, you are maybe working in a grocery store. It's possible everybody on the Christmas is going to be away on holiday, and you could be the only one working. But if you are the one working during that holiday season, you will get paid a lot more. So many of the people who are from other parts of the world not celebrating these holidays choose and offer, to work extra during these days. So you could also do that and earn extra money. Now, what are the practical preparation essentials that you need to plan? We spoke about the blocked bank account. It is 11,908 euros in total. This is approximately split into 990 something amount per month, which is, let's say, a lakh of rupees every month. But that's about it, guys. So if you don't have the money to come to Germany for higher education, you can also think of taking a loan. Like I said, we can help you with the loans. So you can apply for loan. And also, when you take up the expatrio kind of a block bank account, you will also get things like international debit card. There will be a lot of student cards that they are going to give you, which give you access to free museums and all that as a student. Now, these are few things that you need to have in mind when you come to Germany. That 990 something euro is rightly the exact amount calculated by the government, by the state, and is exactly the amount that you need to survive in this country. One person's expense is that much. So anybody, sometimes they say, if I bring my wife, how much is it going to be? How much will it cost me if I bring my child? So you can take an approximate amount of 1,000 euros per person goes up in your expenses if you bring somebody along with you, right? So but for children, I want to say this country gives you money for children. So it gives you like 250 euros as an expense for the child. It's called child benefit money. You get every month till the child is 18. If the child continues to live with you and stay with you, then also up to 24 years of age, the country gives you 250 euros to the parents to take care of the child. So it's a great country. It's a great country, guys. I also want to say, somebody who has worked in Germany for 2 years full time and decides to, or gets fired from the job, for example, you will get paid 60% of your last drawn salary sitting at home for the next 1 year. And while the government is going to work alongside with you, some agencies here are going to help you get to the next job and prepare you to get to the next job. They will give you free German classes. Which country does it, guys? I don't think there is any country which helps people to get a job. This country does that, right? So accommodation is a very, very important part of the move. And also, just like shortage of people, there is a heavy shortage of accommodation simply because of the number of students which are coming into Germany every year. Now, There are people not buying accommodation. There are people not leaving their rented apartments for years together. People have been living in one apartment for 20 years, 25 years, it is not the normal thing in our side of the world, right? You don't get a rented apartment for more than 3 years or 2 years in, in India, because the owners are always scared that they are not comfortable giving away the apartment. But Germany doesn't work like this. The people live in these apartments for long, and if you move to Germany as a student, this is something you need to start working on very early in that whole learning curve. For you to get that Anmeldung, like we were talking about, that is basically a city registration. You go to the local city office and tell them that this is what I want to do, this is where I want to live, this is my address, and they are going to give a contract, they are going to give you a document saying, it's called Anmeldung, right? And that confirms that this is where, that is a confirmation that you have officially entered Germany, and that you are officially, this is where you are residing. Because a lot of legal documents, let's say your tax office documents or your ID, your tax ID, everything will come at that address, which is legally informed to the state. And it's only after you have found an accommodation can you get everything else. After accommodation is when you can get your local bank account. It's only after accommodation can you get fully enrolled into the university for which you came here in the first place. It's only after accommodation can you start work, right? So accommodation is a very, very important part, and there are few things to be prepared for. In Germany, your accommodation can cost anything between 450 euros to around 550 euros per month. You have to be prepared for it. When you take that accommodation, you have to be ready for paying 2 to 3 months of caution deposit in advance, which is something which is 100% refundable unless you have really painted the walls black and blue and purple, right? So you will have to pay for that. It's important otherwise. And from health and transport perspective, because you are paying a statutory health insurance amount of 110 euros every month from your blocked bank account, this money will be going to the insurance provider, then you are protected 100%, right? So if you and god forbid, nobody should go through that, but if somebody gets admitted in a hospital, the entire hospital bill is taken care of by the insurance company. There is no such thing that which happens in our countries, that you go to the hospital first, you have to check if this hospital is empaneled in that insurance provider, then you are going to write to the insurance provider that please transfer the money. No paperwork, guys. It is one of the best experiences. I personally was really unwell 4 years ago. I had to be operated twice, and both the times I had the whole my insurance card. Just showing the insurance card was enough, and I was treated royally, taken care of all along, and given the best treatment until I came out well from that. Okay, so. For transport. Now, any student who is coming into a public university is going to get a semester ticket for which the university is going to take some money from you, and that is a very, very small amount. So when I say the university fees is zero tuition fees, so yes, it will be zero tuition fees in most of the universities, but they might ask you for the deposit for semester ticket so that they can buy you a ticket with which you can travel across Germany. So this is important. And anybody moving in from India to Germany, you are required mandatorily as part of the whole deal that when you are buying your flight ticket, please buy a health insurance as well, an insurance which is your travel insurance. So you, when you take off from India, you should be insured all the way until you land in Germany. Your insurance must be valid for 3 to 6 months. It's mandatory, guys. So right, this is no option. I also want to talk about a house art. So, even though it is a part which is much later after you have come into Germany, the way the medical system works in Germany, they are not looking at you having, you cannot just walk into any hospital and say, I want to be treated. Let's say I want to get my eyes tested or I want to get my ears tested, whatever. If I go into any of these places, they are not going to allow me because I have probably not registered with a local general practitioner. Now, that in German is called house arts. So, you need to have a home doctor, as we call it, and home doctor is mandatory. Okay, so if I go for then an eye checkup, I go to my house doctor, he gives me a certificate saying that yes, you can go. It's like a reference receipt with which I go to that particular doctor, and if they have that doctor on their panel, then they refer us to them, right? So it's a little different system. Many times students don't think about it because they think they are not going to fall sick, but because it's a cold country, there could be many times many reasons why you might fall sick with the changing weather, or simply because of some other issue. It's important to know how medically you have to be covered. For people, just for people to understand, how where will I use that 990 euros, the blocked bank account breakup. So this is an amount which you are going to use for your accommodation, which is approximately 400 to 450 euros. Sometimes it can also be 500 euros. You will be paying around 110 euros for your insurance. You would be paying for your monthly food and groceries around 200 euros. Around 50 euros will be, let's say, maybe your study materials or something. Usually in a public university will not be so much more, but and then of course your personal leisure. So 230 to, even if you were to club them, around 250 to 300 euros is what you're going to really use for your living expenses. And you don't need more than that, guys. You really don't need, because you will be able to get to jobs which are going to give you anything between 1000 euros to around 1500 euros in any kind of a part-time job. You are able to get that. There are different types of visas. So you might come on a student visa, and like I said, you will move from student visa to the post-study job seeker visa. You can also come as a job seeker on a job seeker visa. And when you come like that, then you are not a student and you don't get to work full time unless it is in the field of your study. So if you are somebody who is studying engineering and you come here on a job seeker visa, but you found a job in a restaurant as a restaurant, let's say a chef or a restaurant manager, that is not considered to be a skill. So you will not be a skilled worker. You have to make sure the kind of study that you do and the kind of career that you choose are matching, and that's how you become a skilled worker in the country. This is the case with any of the countries for that matter, right? So uh, these are few of the requirements for starting your visa. I encourage people to go and do some level of the language. We can also help you with language courses. If there are language people interested to start learning the German language, please connect with us. We have partnered with a great institute in Delhi which can offer online German language programs. They have 11,000 people registered with them. Somewhere where I personally also learned from, you can also learn there. So it's great, very affordable, and really good. We can help you secure your visas, and we have this one we have already discussed quickly. So what are the visa timelines? So if you start your application, let's say for a public university next year, which is October next year, your whole application window is going to be all the way from now until the end of July next year at least. Okay, so your results might come out about your admission being given or not given for a winter semester, maybe by end of August or starting of September, and that's when you will be applying for a visa. The whole visa wait time right now in many parts of the world, and especially India, is really really long. You could be waiting anything between 4 to 5 months for your visa alone. So one is being prepared for a visa application. The second is, after your visa is completed, the appointment is done, the visa wait time. The wait time can be pretty huge, guys. Right now it is pretty huge, but people who are coming in respectable good universities, which are German universities, in English taught programs, no problem, you can get, your visa would be prioritized. If you are looking at coming into a public university, your visa will be faster. If you're looking at a private university, your visa could be slightly delayed. If you're coming as a PhD, you would be the first one to be given a visa after a diplomate, so it's good. You should consider that. And yeah, I think after the when you are applying for visa from home country, your visa will be for a very limited duration. Your visa will be probably only for 3 months, or it could be for 6 months. So that visa needs to be renewed and extended after you come here. All right. So these are few of the post arrival formalities. A lot we have already discussed. Uh, the few challenges also we spoke about, like housing difficulties and language barriers. Please, guys, if you're looking at Germany as a destination for higher education, then or anything for settlement and to move to, these are few things to be considered for sure. These are some of our, okay. From my side, the webinar is over. We are right on time. If there is anybody who has any kind of a question, I'm ready to answer it. And for people who want to, let me see who all are there. Ali, you have been there all along. Eric, great to have you here. And thank you for attending the session all the way till the end. Karan is also here. All right. Madiha, Rahila. All right. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, if you have our details and numbers, please feel free to reach out. Do you have any questions for us? Happy to answer questions if you have. If you don't have questions, you guys have sat through for 4 hours. So, really good job. Thank you so much. Okay, alles klar. Good, good, good. Ali, you are getting started with your German. That's good. And you will be helping a few more students also, right, to come to Germany. So, yes, good. Very nice. Yes, thank you everyone for patiently being in the session. Gunisha has written, yes, I want to thank everyone who has found time to attend all the way for 4 hours. And for those of you who are students and who have attended this entire 4 hour session, please send us your CVs, please send us your documents. Maybe I'm going to drop our email. Please send us. We would love to consider you for our internship program. This was exclusively for this event. I guess you guys can see our email addresses. So feel free to connect with us. We'll be happy to answer any of your queries. And it is possible if you start the German journey, it will take you time, but please be patient. We will help you build your profiles until you are ready for this market, right? So we will work along with you. If there are any questions, guys, please feel free to ask. If not, then we will close the session. Thank you, Gunisha. Thank you. Okay. Then let me just thank you. If you don't have questions, it's understandable. But your being here all the way for 4 hours is commendable. Thank you. Thank you so much. If there is anything we can do for any of you or your friends, if there are people who are interested about Germany, please connect with us. We have your email addresses. We are going to share this recording with you. So if there is something you feel that you could have missed and you would like to go back to it, then you will have the recording as a ready reckoner. I'm so. Can you explain what are the free internships? So we don't have free internship. These are also paid internships. So we do have a current hospitality internship going on. If there is somebody who is doing hospitality or hotel management and it has to, mandatorily as part of this entire learning hotel management journey, they have to do, some level of industry exposure. Many of the hotel management institutes expect students to have 6 months of internship, right? So we can definitely do that. These are paid internships. So this is a internship which is in France, where students have to pay they get paid 700 euros every month for up to 6 months. And during that time they will be trained in Michelin star restaurants, large castles, or even large resorts, these large hotel industry places. So the student will not only get 700 euros per month, but they are also going to get food and accommodation as part of the package. So it's like a paid holiday of 700 euros every month for 6 months, and you get to go to France and you get to go and cook and enjoy and learn artistic culinary cuisines in these parts of the world. So that is something we have, and these are really, really great for anybody in the hospitality sector looking to upgrade their skills and looking to move abroad through a hospitality route. So that is also something nice we have. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you. Thank you, Grace. Yeah, thank. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your questions. You can ask us more questions if you were shy to ask today. Please feel free to connect. Thank you very much. I wish you all a beautiful weekend ahead.